Yeah, it looks like we're going.
All right, we're getting started here for Game 5. Pivotal Game 5, a 2-2 series. And we did not think, Danny, that we would be back here in this situation 2 games ago.
No, and credit to Toronto for really stepping up. This wasn't just, shot making luck or anything like that. They defended way better, and I thought Toronto's half court offense made a big improvement in game 4. Now we get a lineup change, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, Nikola Mirotic, who has struggled from deep in these playoffs, is out. Malcolm Brogdon is in, and we said that, hey, Milwaukee, granted you almost won Game 3, and you lost Game 4 in a blowout, but things have been working for you. But if you got any arrows in the quiver, you better use them now, and that seems like what Bud is doing. We'll see if he extends the minutes a little bit more for maybe Brook Lopez, who's been much more effective than the backup bigs, and obviously Brogdon as well here.
So now basically this is a 3-game series, 2 games at Fiserv, 1 game at Scotiabank. Is that what it's called now?
Yeah, and historically, of course, the team with home court advantage in that situation has won 79% of the time. Middleton blitzed by Gasol. Giannis into the lane on Kawhi, and Kawhi picking up his first foul. Not a huge concern. Kawhi, one of the lowest foul players in the NBA, but I like that high pick and roll for the Bucks. Get Gasol away from the rim, and now Giannis going downhill at Kawhi Leonard, where really the only bucket that he beat him for in Game 4 was that, where he actually was able to get space and then spin around him. When Leonard is into his body, he has not been able to be successful.
And a good reminder that we're going to end up talking about free throw shooting in this game. Giannis already missed one. He had some real trouble in Game 4 of the series. He missed both, but Chris Middleton gets the rebound.
He goes for the floater and cannot get it. Chris Middleton, as we said on the last broadcast, the best high-volume three-point shooter in NBA playoff history. Siakam looking to attack the slower Lopez, who stays with him. Siakam now out to Danny Green as Brogdon overhelped. Not there. Bledsoe looking to push it. He's got to get going here. He's got to get on track. And there he does with a good-looking mid-range, too. That's a little bit better a shot. He took a step in, and hopefully that will free up his jump shot from the outside. They have not been guarding him of late. Bledsoe denying Lowry. Backdoor. Bledsoe gets a deflection. It's off the face of Lowry. Giannis looking to push it. He's got Brogdon in the corner. Gasol with the late contest, and Brogdon gives Milwaukee the 5-0 lead.
And his lack of hesitation and deliberation time this year has been a huge positive there. Just catch and shoot, go straight into it.
Yeah, I mean, even since he's come back in these playoffs in particular. Leonard gets the screen from Gasol. Switch. Leonard will just pull this. Oh, Kawhi Leonard has not had the touch from three-point range in this series. Nick Nurse saying that Kawhi was feeling better coming into this game, and they'll need a massive performance from him tonight. Bledsoe attacking Siakam. Draws the foul. So a couple of positive plays from Eric Bledsoe. They had the bigs lifted. No help was available, and Bledsoe went right at Siakam with the crossover. So that's one on Siakam and Leonard.
And good to see Bledsoe not only more aggressive, but actually making his first shot of the game. He had been a real limiting factor, not only because he'd missed those shots, but because the way Toronto was defending him, it congested everything else, and that's a big problem. And we saw that with Marc Gasol in the first 2 games of the series. He got more aggressive, made more shots.
Bledsoe hitting the 2 free throws. Now Siakam going right at Lopez and draws the foul. No, they're going to get the offensive foul.
Wow.
That's a second. Let's see. Does he shove off with the opposite arm? We can't see it. Tony Brothers could under the rim. Let's see if we catch it here. Oh, man, that's a horrible call. What did he
really
do?
Separate from his arm.
Yeah, his arm's right up against his body. How is that a foul? That's an obvious blocking foul. Key call, putting Kawhi on the bench. Norm Powell, who's been awesome in this series, he was 6 for 18, although many of those misses were late. Giannis, fake DHO right down the lane. Blew the layup, though. Gasol came over to bother him. Now Leonard pushing it. Looked like he got fouled from behind by Giannis. Powell into the lane. Past Middleton. Three-pointer in the corner. Lowry is not there. Green goes for an offensive board, and now they're out of balance in transition again. Bledsoe throws it right back out to Lowry. They did not get enough help that time. Green up top. Lowry will load up wide open, and 2 misses from Lowry that have been wide open so far could have brought Toronto back into a lead. Brogdon stripped by Green, and now Green goes down holding his side. Hopefully he's okay. Did you see what happened to him?
I thought he might have gotten hit by Brogdon's left hand, but I didn't get a good look at it. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
They hit him in the wrong
okay,
spot.
like that's the exact same thing that Siakam did on the other end. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
like how is that? I mean, the answer is the first one wasn't a foul. Lopez in the post against Powell. Middleton looks to him. They're gonna have to double team here. Lopez turning right there, and that takes you back to his days at Stanford when he would set up on the right block and Robin Lopez would set up on the left block every time down. Lowry backdoor against the aggressiveness of Bledsoe, but the interior defense from Brogdon knocks it away. Milwaukee in transition again. Bledsoe does not want to take the three-pointer. That was the shot that was available. It was open, and they'll get into the offense here. Giannis, Gasol with the aggressive double team right behind. Gasol went Lopez for the dunk, and Nick Nurse is going to call for time.
And when you double Giannis there, you have 3 guys on the other 4, and Lopez just kind of slipped between the coverage and got right open. Good job by Giannis finding him as well.
Yeah, and I think there's been more of an awareness now for Milwaukee leaving that space open under the basket for cutting and driving than we've seen earlier in this series.
It's a good time for questions. I will mention also patreon.com/Duncan LaRue. Great way to support the show. We do subscriber-only podcasts. We do early release podcasts when we record something basically more than a day ahead. Salary cap sheets. We do text versions of our lists, all that kind of fun stuff. You can also support us by, if you check out Twitch. Twitch, you can sync your Amazon Prime should you have an account with Twitch and make Twitch Prime, and then you get a subscription. You can use that on us.
Yeah, it doesn't even cost.
Right. If you have Amazon Prime, it doesn't cost you anything.
But you have to resubscribe every month.
I think you get one free subscription. I think you can do it for a long.
Yeah, no, I think like you subscribe to a new thing every month. Like it cancels it after the first month.
That could be right.
It's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Possible fixes for the Supermax. Maybe it only counts 30% against cap. I don't think you need a fix for the Supermax. I mean, at least not in that context, because I've thought about the idea of, like, I called it the cornerstone exception. I wrote about this years ago for mid-level exceptional, but that required a lot more team service and would be a little bit of a different thing. A team just has to make the decision of whether that contract is worthwhile for them. I think that making it easier for them, just like babying them by saying, oh, well, it doesn't all count against the cap. I don't support that.
I miss y'all on YouTube so much. We've been on there pretty much every single time except for a couple of times. I just went to
I think it was one or
channel.
2. Yeah.
Thoughts on Gobert being eligible for a Supermax extension after next year? Well, I think we could save the Supermax and the All NBA talk probably for Dunk Time.
We'll do a whole thing on
that. Do you still favor the Bucks in this series?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. The home court advantage, I think they're the better team. When they have won, it seemed a little bit more dominating. They do still have to get past this Giannis and Kawhi thing, or Kawhi guarding Giannis thing, I should say.
Yeah, it's closer than I would have expected here, but I mean, having 2 home games out of 3, and they've played very well in the home games, and you don't want to go with. While I think that Kawhi guarding Giannis is an important development, it's not like it didn't change the whole series yet. It could end up being there. Yeah, but we'll talk. Are you frustrated by the sentiment that the Blazers just have to pay Lillard? I'll call that different than the Supermax. The answer is yeah. I mean, what is he going to do? Like if he's not willing to return for any less than the supermax, then that's a decision that Portland needs to make.
What is he going to do? Ask for a trade.
Yeah,
I mean,
and you can honor it or not.
It is, yeah. It's. We could talk more about that too. That is an interesting question, though. So Siakam on the bench, Bledsoe denying Lowry, and Lowry says, "Hey, you just dribble into where I was supposed to be instead." Kawhi out of the corner, trying to get it. Middleton topsides him well. Bledsoe almost got on a hand on the pass from Gasol. Late clock, Lowry, Gasol over the shorter Bledsoe, and Toronto, as Green, again on the offensive glass, can't get it. Toronto has missed a bunch of wide open threes now. Here's Bledsoe. He's feeling it and hits. Man, Milwaukee has gotten the shot making to go down. Toronto, I mean, I don't think Milwaukee's getting that much better at shots than Toronto. Toronto's getting some pretty open ones here. Lowry looking to attack Bledsoe, who cuts him off nicely. No spacing on the weak side. They try to rectify that with Powell coming over. Goes at Bledsoe, attacks underneath, stopped by Lopez, but a foul.
And a nice piece of patience there by Norm Powell. Not somebody who I normally laud for his patience, to wait until the defenders kind of get into a position where he has a lane to try to finish and gets fouled instead.
Yeah, Eric Bledsoe finally hitting some shots is pretty enormous here. I would still stick with the strategy of helping off of him if I'm Toronto, but naturally guys are going to just become a little bit more attuned to him now.
Yeah, and so Toronto, at least according to the normal box score I use isn't right. According to the NBA.com one, every single field goal that Toronto has attempted so far in this game has been a three. That's interesting.
Offensive rebound off the free throw. Here's Lowry down the lane, finds Gasol, and Gasol blows yet another layup. He has been awful around the rim this series. Oh, here's Bledsoe with the jam. Giannis on the finish.
That's what you could do when a guy has a catch radius that is infinite. Just throw it somewhere and he'll get it. That was really nice.
Yeah, and the missed layup by Gasol right off the backboard. Powell fouled Giannis as well. But that missed layup was basically an outlet pass for Milwaukee to run it down their throats the other way. Milwaukee, so dangerous in transition, especially at home. But really, again, it's been an offensive issue for Toronto, and now they're going to get a loose ball foul. I think it was Lopez called for it there. Yeah, that Siakam second foul and taking him off of Bledsoe is really looming large right now. And Siakam isn't the type of guy where you can say, oh yeah, go and play with fouls. Like, he's been in foul trouble throughout much of this playoff run. Milwaukee switching everything right now. They get Lopez, deflection, and we're going to go the other way. Gasol couldn't corral it, nor could Green it, and that's something to watch as well here. We're seeing Brook Lopez switching out on the perimeter even more than usual now. And I think Toronto's probably got to start getting the ball to Kawhi a little bit more. Bledsoe attacking Gasol off the late switch, steps back into a three, and that time he didn't have his feet up.
Yeah, you didn't need to force that shot there. You want to keep them honest, but you don't have to do it like that. Kawhi misses a pull-up too.
Yeah, another short jump shot from Kawhi Leonard. Middleton to Bledsoe into the lane, back out Giannis. Going to look to go at Green. Help comes from Kawhi. Back out Bledsoe. Did not take the three that time. That was a better look than the one he had. But he steps in for the two where he's feeling more confident. 3 jump shots out of 4 attempts already for Bledsoe. Toronto might want to start putting the ball in the basket, though. Here's Kawhi. Not a good shot. He had the matchup and an open side on the smaller Brogdon and elected to just take the three. Now Giannis going at Lowry, and this will be another foul, but he passed off. Could have had a shooting foul.
Yeah, and I believe because one of Toronto's fouls was offensive, that second one on Siakam, I think that's their fourth what would be considered a team foul. And that would be, even though Milwaukee, not the greatest free throw shooting team in the world, depending on who's on the floor, still a huge advantage.
George Hill has come on. He'll be joined by Bledsoe in the backcourt as Brogdon sits down. Van Vliet is in. He's got Middleton. Middleton using the size advantage. Pick and roll with Giannis, who lost it. Great help by the Raptors there. Their active hands around the rim have been really saved them a number of times in this series. Leonard, they're going to bring Lowry out of the corner. Bledsoe with the top side takes it away. Now Van Vliet off the screen. They switch this, trying to get Gasol in the post. Good help comes from Middleton. They'll swing it. Now a wide open Leonard. And finally, Toronto on the board from three-point range. The double team on Gasol, that was Toronto taking advantage of the switching. They double teamed off the ball. Middleton just lost Kawhi. Now here's Lowry with the loose ball as Bledsoe lost it. Nice job using his body to score as Toronto stabilizing things just a bit here.
Yeah, and I mean, getting a second 3-pointer, they were I think they were like 1 for 4 in the early part of the going. 1 for 6, sorry.
Well, I don't think they had hit a 3.
No, they hit one early.
Mirotic posting up on Van Vliet. Goes to the left shoulder fadeaway, and that's just not the shot you want out of that matchup. Power him down and get some help if you're Mirotic. Van Vliet, no look pass. Swing from Lowry to Gasol. Another missed open 3, and Gasol shot it so well, 50% on threes in the 2 Toronto games. He's back to being off again in Milwaukee, where he shot a miserable 3 out of 20. Giannis off the recovery, misses another layup. Danny Green trying to tie him up. Giannis too strong with those huge hands, and they've got 10 to work with. Giannis going to try and attack Gasol. Goes for the long 2 and hits. Giannis also was way off on the jump shot in Toronto. Hits that one. Gasol, Green setting the back screen for Van Vliet. Nothing going there. He swings it instead. Leonard gets Giannis into traffic. Beautiful Euro step, and he's fouled. The patience of Kawhi Leonard. He'll turn it over on occasion, but he gets into these tight places, and because he's not out of control, he can maintain his dribble in those scenarios and draw fouls or get to the basket. So another timeout coming here.
That means it's a great time for your questions. Are we sure Gasol is better than Valanciunas? I am. I mean, Valanciunas' limitations defensively are important in these type of games. Maybe, in the regular season, especially where center defense on a game-to-game basis might be less material. But, I mean, the difference between those two guys on Vooch in the first round and on Joel Embiid in the second round, yeah, it's massive.
Yeah.
What's going on with this short Giannis free throws? I don't have a good explanation for it. I mean, it's not like he's an unbelievable free throw shooter, but he's looked a little bit off. I don't know. I don't have a firm explanation though. Who is the most sporadic performer left in the playoffs? So the person basically with the highest variance and maybe the least like kind of the weirdest mean. I mean, it might be Eric Bledsoe. At least offensively. I mean, if Siakam's in foul trouble, I guess that's another one. But I think and he's had games where he's not feeling it from a shooting perspective.
Sorry, I was trying to get my box score to work. What was the question?
Most sporadic player left in the playoffs.
Klay Thompson is pretty damn streaky.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Sorry, Klay Thompson is really streaky. I'm gonna have a lot of mic failures today because I've got this cough that you guys don't really need to hear. Mirotic, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and with Mirotic, what makes him in some ways more variance is that he's gonna take the same shots either way, and it's just whether they go in or not. But that's kind of why I think for Bledsoe, because sometimes he'll fade off a little bit, but Bledsoe is more consistent defensively, to be sure. Thoughts on the Bucks starting Brogdon? I support it. I think it was the right decision, and they because he's more consistent. I think having another ball handler on the floor really does provide some value, and yeah, and it makes more sense to pull Mirotic than to pull Bledsoe, even though Bledsoe was I would argue was worse in the Toronto games just because his expected value is higher.
Who is the best point guard in this series? I'd probably say Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, I would say Lowry as well.
Because, you're not going to just leave Lowry open.
Is your ESPN box score still not working?
Let me refresh it again.
Trying to figure out if mine hates me or if it's just hating everybody.
No, it generally just doesn't work for anybody, I think.
Okay.
But
Kawhi makes the free throw to complete the 3-point play after that nice move going into the timeout. Now it's down to an 8-point game.
Ilyasova has come on, as has Mirotic. He was in before. Middleton guarded by Lowry. Backdoor again. And this is now a third time that Milwaukee already has gotten these cuts in the half court. And I think that's been a nice little adjustment for them. Connaughton is in as well. Ibaka hands off to Leonard. He's guarded by Ilyasova. So the full switch is in effect right now for Milwaukee. Leonard going at Ilyasova. Out to Powell. He's got a wide open three. And he continues to make those shots as he has throughout this series and really in his career against the Bucks.
And Milwaukee, 8 assists on 9 made baskets so far. It's a good testament to their ball movement and the way their offense has flowed so far.
So that's actually a second foul on Kawhi. His right hand wrapped around the waist of Chris Middleton.
And not only that, but it's free throws on a non-shooting foul.
Yeah, and again, the Nurse cannot overreact here. Leonard is a very, very low foul player in contrast to Siakam, but he is overreacting. He's taking him out. Giannis is out too. That might be a reason, and maybe Nurse is kicking himself for now. Kawhi's going to play more minutes than Giannis. Bud saying that Giannis is going to stay in the 36, 37-minute range, that they want him to maintain his energy and aggressiveness. So we'll see whether Nurse is going to continue to play Kawhi as normal minutes or not, or whether he's going to be cowed by the foul trouble. But Siakam is back in, so I think this is more based on Antetokounmpo being out. This is a good chance for Toronto to get back in this series. Late switch there. Connaughton almost blew it, but Siakam couldn't take advantage. Now they're posting up Siakam. They're trying to make Toronto more one-dimensional in terms of ISOing. Lowry off the double team. Van Vliet gets past Mirotic. Now Lowry stepping in. It's blocked by Connaughton. Connaughton, another wild closeout, and Toronto just has not done a good enough job of pump faking him. He's going for that blocked three-pointer every time. Here's Mirotic off the DHO action. Again, a miss from Mirotic. He takes some difficult threes. That certainly qualifies. Siakam, Powell looking to attack Middleton. Missed Siakam initially. Now Siakam going at Ilyasova. Ibaka, Lowry, pump faking. Gets Mirotic in the air. Did a good job staying with him, though. Ibaka on the cut. Instead, it's out to Van Vliet. His three is good. Toronto starting to hit shots now, and I think they can really make some hay against this Bucks unit. Middleton getting the switch on Ibaka. Directs traffic. Wants to clear out a side, but they're pretty late clock already. Hill, nice job cutting into the corner, and he hits the three. That was excellent there. I don't know if that's a play that they came up with, but they started with Hill under the basket, leading Lowry to think he could help, and then Hill going into the strong side corner after the help had already been engaged, leaving him wide open. They created basically help off the strong side corner with that movement.
I'm going to make a prediction. Ersan Ilyasova is going to try to draw a charge on Siakam in these next 2 minutes. I don't know if he'll be successful, but I'm confident he's going to try it.
I mean, he's not as good as an on-ball guy, though. I think you really want to make him defend as an on-ball guy if you're Toronto. Screen for Powell out of the corner. Curls in on Ilyasova. Extends and finishes against the ground-bound Ilyasova. Now the Bucks swing it. Connaughton switch. Ilyasova trying to post up Powell down low. They did not see him. Connaughton behind the back nicely. No advantage gain, though, out to Brogdon. He drives. goes through, rejected by Siakam. And that play is nice by Siakam, but it's also made by Van Vliet, digging in, forcing him to pick up his dribble earlier than he wanted to, and then he didn't have the explosion at the rim, and Siakam just able to erase it.
Well, and also Mirotic, who Siakam was guarding there, kind of cutting into the basket despite not really having a place to be. That put Siakam closer to where he needed to be to block that shot.
Yeah, that's a good point. So Giannis is back, Ibaka guarding him, 5 on the 24. Giannis into the lane, goes to the fadeaway, rebound Siakam. 7-point Milwaukee lead. Siakam crossing up on Connaughton, goes to the floater, did not get a good look. Good job by Connaughton staying with him without fouling. Siakam loading to Giannis. Giannis too slow to get it to Connaughton for the 3. Now they'll get into their offense. Here's the drive into Siakam. Out to Hill. His quick catch and shoot. Not there. Excellent box out by Powell.
2 guys behind the ball for the Bucks.
Powell looking to attack Brogdon. Into the lane. Floats it up. Not there. Giannis bothered the shot. Mirotic. Hill. Closed down by Green nicely. Little exhaustion here after some end-to-end action. They do not switch this. And now Giannis, man, he has driven a number of times.
I think he should have even made a motion like he was going to shoot that. He probably would have gotten a foul call if he hadn't just looked to pass.
Yeah,
it probably wouldn't have been a foul, but he could have tried it.
Yeah, no, that's a great.
Oh, he just lost the ball. Oh, that's great play by FEV.
Van Vliet, and I'm not sure how is that Bucks ball? Maybe there was another touch afterwards that we couldn't see. So once again, late clock for Milwaukee. Toronto half-court defense starting to stabilize. Giannis puts it on the floor, sets up Brogdon. Green with the late close, and Danny Green could not get there. Brogdon with a huge 3. That's late clock. They had nothing going, and maybe a little bit of an overhelp that time. That's Lopez who's returned. Ibaka facing up on Hill. Goes to the jump shot. Not there. Green loading to Giannis. They mess up the matchups again. Brogdon steps in. 2-point range is good. And once again, Danny Green, he just loves to pick up Giannis in transition rather than his own guy.
For some reason, it's not like he's good at it.
Siakam is there. I don't know why Green decided he was going to guard him instead. Pick and roll. Ibaka right down the lane. Help comes from Lopez, who shoved him. And I'm not sure whether it's going to be Hill or Lopez on the foul.
Yeah, Lopez, I was shocked he didn't make a play for that ball. I'm like, because I was thinking about, it's so useful that the Bucks have a second big there, and then instead he just kind of sticks his arm out instead of sticking it up. But then he might have just thought the foul had already happened.
Yeah, Toronto cut it to 6, and now it's back to 12. Some timely 3-point shooting from the Bucks. They are 4 of 7 from downtown. Toronto 4 of 11. They've started to hit a little bit better now after some missed ones early.
And not only the 4 of 7, but Milwaukee's hitting their 2-point jumpers as well. That's something when Ben pulls the shot charts. I mean,
I think they're other than Giannis, I think nobody's missed a 2-point jumper. Ibaka originally a 24th overall selection of the Thunder in 2008, a pick that Sam Presti, when they were still the Sonics, acquired for taking on the salary of Kurt Thomas in a luxury tax avoidance move from the Suns.
Wait, Robert Sarver trying to avoid paying money?
2 first-round picks that were acquired, and Ibaka did not come over immediately, signed to start the 2009 season, and really has shown remarkable improvement. Certainly not the most fluid player overall, but compared to where he was starting off as a young player, he deserves a ton of credit for how he's improved. Missed floater from Brogdon. Toronto with the last shot of the quarter coming. Screen roll, they switch it. Powell looking to go at Lopez. Crosses him up. Creates the space. Late close from Lopez. And man, Brook Lopez, I thought Powell was wide open, and Lopez just has such incredible length. He really surprises guys on some of those challenges. That's what happened to Powell that time.
You might know the answer to this question. How much money is an extra playoff game worth to a team? I think I've heard $6.5 million in revenue gate.
Well, there's a split of. I mean, it starts with how much it is just overall. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
the Warriors, you get a lot more, but then you have to split it with the road team and the league as well.
That's true.
I think you only end up, I think, with something. It's definitely below 50% of the revenue for your
I would
home
think
games.
so.
Kawakami wrote a piece about this a while ago.
I think he
actually.
did. Ben just tweeted out a link to like of Danny Green, or it looks like maybe he's gonna redo it. Danny Green picking up Kawhi in transition. You can check that out. Questions. Anthony Davis favorite at the moment. Ugh. I'm as crazy as it sounds. I'm still in Boston mode here because even if Kyrie leaves, first of all, they might not know that at the time, and I think Danny Ainge is willing to make the bet. Anthony Davis, so you think about how rare it is for a player this good, this young to become available. Like Harden was way younger, but at that point had not been this good. Obviously, he has been since. So you're keeping all these chips for somebody like him, and also I think there's a greater chance that David Griffin likes their assets more than the Lakers or the Knicks, because the Lakers and Knicks assets are really eye of the beholder type of things, and the Celtics guys are better. Thoughts on Cam Reddish as a player? Wait a few weeks until we do him for Dunked On. I basically just watched him for bits of 2 games, and I think one of those games he might have only played part of it because of foul trouble or something. So I'm not there yet, but we are starting our draft stuff very soon, so you can keep an eye on that. Would the best choice for Davis be to stay in New Orleans and play with Zion? Depends on what he wants. I mean, I think that would be a pretty cool circumstance. It would definitely be the best for him financially, unless there was something. I don't think Louisiana's tax laws are that unfavorable to high wage earners because they can offer so much more money. But whether they are like a championship team and a championship team soon enough is an open question. So if that's what Davis wants, and it certainly could be his reasonable preference to focus on that, not saying that he is, I'm just saying that he could, then it isn't the best chance, because Zion, it's going to take him some time. It's hard for them to improve a ton from here. They're not the most asset-rich team in the world because the assets they have they want to keep. Best D'Angelo Russell fit if Kemba and Kyrie want to play in Brooklyn. I'm trying to figure out if there's a way to get him to Orlando.
Kemba and Kyrie?
Well, no, like if they wanted a
Or
point
Kyrie.
guard other than D'Angelo Russell.
All right. Well, let's hit that afterwards because we're restarting here.
I also don't have a super good answer, so I'm fine just bypassing it.
Oh, the Magic.
That was the one answer I had.
All right, here we go. Lowry off the little Iverson cut gets the screen from Ibaka. Ibaka trying to post up. The Bucks continuing to switch nearly everything. Van Vliet trying to break down Brogdon. They have to go one-on-one. Tough fader from Van Vliet is off. Still no Kawhi. He's been out for almost 5 minutes now. Giannis pressured by Lowry. Lopez as they go for the steal with Ibaka. Now here's a 3 resulting by Brogdon, and Toronto got lucky. Looks like Nick Nurse is going to go back to Gasol. I'm not sure whether it's because Ibaka went for that steal or not. Lowry getting it to Siakam. Ibaka off the screen from Van Vliet. Giannis got through it. Siakam, now he sets up Lowry, and Brook Lopez helped a ton, and Lowry's just got to make that shot. He's struggled on the open threes. Here's Bledsoe right into Van Vliet. Short, tip short as well. Siakam rebounds after it was kept alive by Ibaka. Here's Van Vliet. Does not take the 3. Oh, nice dribble, but Giannis still swallowing him up. Underneath Ibaka, looked to be fouled by Hill, looked to be bumped by Lopez, and now Lopez will pick up the foul.
And that'll be Brook Lopez's second foul of the game.
Yeah, Milwaukee working on a 10-point lead that Ibaka will try to cut into at the foul line. And yes, clear foul there on Lopez. Had the arms forward when the contact occurred.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, continuing the story of Ibaka since he's at the line. He was signed with the Thunder the same year that James Harden was drafted. Both of them were finishing their rookie contracts at the same time. There was a feeling that the small market Thunder, with the new luxury tax in the 2011 CBA, could not afford both of them. Ibaka signed to a 4-year, $48 million extension. James Harden did not accept an offer that was about $4 million less than the max. And he ended up getting shipped out, whether it was the tax, whether it was Sam Presti believing that they were better off getting what they could get in trade. There's Giannis, who has not been effective as a roll man tonight. He's had a number of bobbles. Siakam will load up for the three over Middleton, and it drops somehow. What a weird bounce. That hit front rim on the right side, and somehow without hitting the backboard, drops in. Giannis posting up. Double team comes immediately from Ibaka. Backs out. No spacing for the Bucks. No advantage gained on the double. Now the drive from Bledsoe against Ibaka, and Ibaka stays there. And I love that no call.
That was a Chris Paul-esque foul attempt drawn by former teammate Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah, Bledsoe had absolutely nowhere to go. Ibaka's got just standing there. He's got his foot on the out of bounds line though, and he tries to go right through him. Ibaka didn't move, and they just get him with the no call. I love it. Mark Davis is not the guy to try with that call-seeking behavior. Siakam matched up against Lopez. Looks to put him in the mix. Goes to the floater. And then again, that's just a little bit too far out for Siakam to be comfortable with that floater. He's not taking some good shots here. Middleton cut off nicely by Siakam with help from Leonard. Giannis going into Leonard. Gets plenty of space. Blows the layup though. Man, how many of these finishes is Giannis going to miss? I think he was just worried about getting stripped. That's why he went up awkwardly. Now Leonard with Lopez switching onto him. They'll back it out. 5-point game. Leonard into Lopez. Goes right through him. Can't get the layup. Giannis pushing at Gasol. Finally gets a finish. Good job by Gasol not fouling. Toronto 3-on-3. Lowry going at Brogdon. Tries to draw the foul and will do so. How do you feel about how this is going for Toronto so far?
I think that it's been pretty good for them overall. They were missing a ton of shots early, but they weren't bad shots. They were pretty good shots, and so you expect that to normalize over the course of a game. I would say Milwaukee, at least until the last couple minutes of the quarter, were getting tougher shots. So yeah, I think they should feel decently about this. They still are, 7 points down before these free throws, so they should be 5 down after that. But I think they should feel pretty good.
They've been relatively unsuccessful attacking the switches, at least when the guy with the mismatch shoots the ball. They're 0 for 6 from mid-range right now, 5 of 14. 14 of their 25 shot attempts have been three-pointers.
Yeah, and I mentioned before that Milwaukee had been making a lot of 2-point jumpers. First quarter only, 4 of 6 from mid-range in the game. That's actually better than they shot in the restricted area where they were 4 of 7.
Yeah, and for Milwaukee, 4 of 8 from downtown, 13 of 27 from the field overall. And
something else that's significant, Toronto basically not getting any offensive rebounds. They've gotten 1 total, which is an offensive rebound rate of 5.6%.
Yeah, and really in the game 1 in particular is the offensive rebound. That was the difference. Pretty much every other number in the advanced stats was about the same. Also noteworthy, only 5 of 10 at the rim for Milwaukee.
Your mic's off.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Has it been off this whole time?
I have no idea.
Probably has been.
For free agency predictions, do you find betting odds to be good predictors? I haven't followed them closely enough to know. So, that would be if somebody could.
If it's from what's it called? That terrible. If it's from Bovada, they're a joke. They mean absolutely nothing there because, according to bettors that I talk to, they basically don't have high enough limits. If you win a lot, they'll just kick you off the platform. They just don't have enough exposure to have those odds mean anything other than just let's try and get a bunch of small players to bet and we'll just take their money and we don't have enough exposure so that it'll really matter.
What would Phoenix's team be if they didn't sell their picks for cash? Yeah, that would be an interesting historical one to go through. All of those. I actually wrote a piece years ago for Real GM kind of going through some of their cost-saving moves. But I mean, remember that they were doing that when they were really good. Like those picks, they traded the pick that could have become Rajon Rondo. They traded the pick that could have been Walt Deng. Like numerous players when they still had Steve Nash. And so it's
and Stoddard. They were a championship contender.
Yeah, it's even more catastrophic than it would be like if they were doing cost-saving moves like that now. What's the expected salary cap jump for the coming season? It's not that big. It's going from...
Well, that's pretty big. 7 million.
7 million? Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's bigger than it was last year.
Yeah. Maybe it's just I'm normalized to it because it's been projected at this exact number for like a year and a half now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's just what it is.
Lowry with another chance at the foul line here. 7-point Milwaukee lead. He can bring Toronto within 5. Hits the first. Connaughton has returned for Milwaukee. They like playing him in short stints for his energy. And Lowry indeed brings them within 5. Giannis screening away for Lopez. Now it's Bledsoe. They look to set up a drive for him, and he just goes right into Gasol with absolutely nowhere to go. Lopez tried to cut in the lane, but Gasol swallowed up Bledsoe on the baseline.
And at least on that one, Bledsoe had somebody to throw the ball into so they could keep possession.
Middleton creates the space on Van Vliet. He has not had the touch after a spectacular game in Game 4. Lowry pushing it up, but nobody running with him. They'll get into their offense. Screen for Siakam. Now Leonard, one-on-one, attacks quickly, swings it to the weak side. Siakam has Connaughton in the post. They're going to need to double this. It does come from Lopez. Lowry, 5 on the clock, drives in, floats over Lopez, off the glass, not there, and Bledsoe could not corral it. It goes to Siakam instead. Lowry bothered him just enough. 8 on the clock. Leonard now has Bledsoe. Beautiful between the legs. Dimes up Siakam in the corner, but he can't make a shot.
And that's another clean look by the Raptors that just missed from 3.
Giannis, deep post position. Out to Bledsoe. 3 from Lopez is off. That's the first 3-point attempt of the game from Lopez. And Toronto doing a better job now against the switching of attacking and kicking out to open shooters because the Bucks are really going to help. Siakam, there's the help from Lopez. Wide open is Gasol. In and out again. Gasol has had the looks.
Yeah, I believe that's 5 of 16 from 3 for Toronto.
Giannis, that could have been a third on Siakam. Instead, it's Bledsoe. Gasol trying to keep it alive. Oh, that's interesting.
What?
I thought that should have been off of Giannis. Maybe Gasol hit it again, but it looked like
Gasol batted it, hit Giannis' hand, and went out of bounds.
Yeah, it looked like Gasol was trying to tip it out towards the court, and it goes out towards the baseline. You'd think that would be off of Giannis. But au contraire, say the referees.
Yeah, so right now, Toronto 16 3-point attempts, Milwaukee 10, but Milwaukee only has 1 fewer make.
Good denial by Van Vliet on Hill. Now Leonard hounding Middleton. 5 on the clock. Middleton's going to have to create something himself. Forced to his right by Kawhi. Loses the dribble. Fades away. Not there. Excellent box out by Lowry on Connaughton. Toronto can push it here. Van Vliet looking to go at Ilyasova, who's come back on. Giannis is out of the game. They're trying to post Gasol on Ilyasova. Now they finally get it into him. 8 on the clock. Ilyasova trying to take away that middle. Now a drive from Van Vliet on Lopez. Another wide open corner 3. Another wide open miss for Toronto. Another offensive rebound. Lowry behind Siakam. Now he's going to go at Lopez one-on-one out of the corner. Into the lane. They swing it out to Kawhi. Looking to rise up for mid-range. Back to Siakam. He has to take the 3 from up top. Yet another Siakam miss. Another wide open one, by the way. This is becoming a problem.
Yeah, they're 1 for 10 from the field in this quarter.
Drive by Hill, Connaughton, Siakam loads up. He drives the wrong way. He had Ilyasova up in the corner. Instead, it's Lopez. As the ball ricocheted to him, he misses that. Some bad shooting so far. They're trying to post Leonard on Hill, and Van Vliet was not looking that way. Now they get it to him. Kawhi being forced to his left. Hill with the great hands forcing a jump ball.
Milwaukee has scored 2 points in the first 6 minutes of the second quarter.
Yeah, and Toronto has had their chances as well. Looked like that maybe was a foul on Connaughton digging down, but they give the jump ball instead. Toronto, of course, the advantage with the jump ball with Kawhi going against Hill. Yeah, people have asked us to say the score more, but when they're not scoring, there's not much need to do that. 34-29 Milwaukee. 10 on the clock for the Raps if Kawhi can win this tip, and he does not, but gets it back off of Connaughton. Van Vliet is open, his 3 over Connaughton. Finally, the Raptors make one, and they've pulled within 2.
Yeah, and this is a 10-2 slow motion run for the Toronto Raptors.
10-2 walk by the Raptors. Middleton in pick and roll. Throws it ahead of Ilyasova, who did not roll quickly enough. Here's the alley-oop. Leonard will junk it down and tie game in transition. This Raptors defense starting to make their presence felt. And a huge Milwaukee lead, great start, has evaporated.
And Toronto, yes, they're up 10-2. This is not fluky shooting or anything like that. They've had better shots, significantly so, than Milwaukee in this run. Like, they had at least 4 open threes that missed. And, maybe they weren't the greatest three-point shooters in the world, but they could have gotten at least 1 or 2 of those.
Yeah, I'll be back in a second, but, I guess we can talk about that when we get back. We're going to do some questions, since the feedback says that we need to do more questions. We listen to y'all.
Thoughts on the Shams report on Chris Paul pushing for more ball movement? I haven't read it yet. I've been bouncing around a lot during the day today. It's kind of funny considering Chris Paul teams have not been known for their ball movement necessarily. I mean, his teams have been particularly slow within the half court. Like once they don't run, the ball sticks a lot. But I could imagine him thinking that it would work better, and I could see that being a point of conflict. True. What should Lillard be paid? So basically, what is fair market value for Damian Lillard? So moving forward, I mean, so he's a clear-cut All-NBA guy. I had him second team. I thought he was the third best guard in the regular season. I had him as the number 4. Like we had the whole thing with him and Kyrie in the player rankings. That's probably in the, for right now, that's probably in the 34, $36 million range. I think that's right around where I'd be. But the problem is that's where you start now. He drops from here on out because he's going to get older. And I mean, I would say he's in his prime and then going to be moving out of it in the near term. That's an interesting framework. Apparently on Simmons' show, they talked about Tatum and Ben Simmons being traded for each other. So basically, I mean, Boston obviously doesn't do that if Kyrie comes back. And I would argue Boston doesn't do that if they could get Anthony Davis. But in that kind of theoretical other world, those guys. Well, so wait, Simmons was drafted a year before. Is that correct?
Yes.
So that's a negative for Simmons, is that he will get paid sooner. I think Simmons has a higher ceiling, but I also think it's easier to fit Tatum on more teams. So I guess I'd rather have Tatum. Oh, but you want to talk about the shot quality between these two teams so far. I think that's what you're getting at before you.
No, I wanted to talk about the Bucks switching and
okay.
What you think of that decision to go there. We saw more of it against Boston. I think, from what I recall, they've been switching even more now against Toronto. And, I think it was working okay early, but it's I didn't feel like they were getting like carved up in pick and roll or off ball screens or anything. Like, I think they're.
Well, and also Toronto doesn't have a ton of like pull up jump shooters that are going to just kill you on those shots.
Yeah, I mean Kawhi. Now, I think part of the thinking is, well, Kawhi is a little limited. He's not going to kill our guys, so maybe we can get away with some bad matchups on him. Wow, that was quite the screen by Giannis. He hit Gasol in the face. Credit Gasol for holding his face and continuing to go through the screen. And now are they going to give a technical foul for Gasol? He's saying that Giannis hit him in the eye. Watch the right elbow of Giannis here. Oh, no, it's actually his head.
Yeah, was it I think it was shoulder to head?
No, I think it was head to head. Yeah, that's clearly an offensive foul on Giannis. He's stepping right into him. It's you got to really be leaning all over the place.
Oh, maybe it's an infectious disease break.
Yeah,
that'd be better. That'd be better than a technical.
I think maybe Toronto just called timeout. But yeah, that's clearly. I mean, if you're getting your head, you're leaning over enough that your head is into the path of the defensive player, and you're hitting him with your head. Yeah, that is not a legal screen. And I mean, interesting ATO to set a screen for one of your better shooters, a center, on the other team's center. Centers are not used to getting through screens going out to the three-point line. So credit again to Gasol for doing that while he was holding his face at the same time.
Somebody else asked. Seth Rivers asked, would you trade Ayton for the second pick? I need to watch more film of Ja Morant.
Yes.
But my instinct is
even though
yes.
I haven't even
my instinct is yes.
Morant yet.
Because I like Morant from what I've seen.
Here's the handoff to Lowry going into Mirotic. Did not draw the foul, but he got that floater in off the backboard. And with Lopez out, we'll see if Toronto can make more hay at the rim as they did in Game 4 against this Mirotic-Giannis front court. Giannis Euro steps on Kawhi, but he blew the dunk. He's gotten better looks, but has not been able to convert them against Kawhi. When he gets that running start against Kawhi, he looks much better. Here's Middleton, who's been shut down. Mirotic, nice pass fake. Can't convert. Siakam running the floor. Oh, Kawhi just totally missed him. Now he'll pull up on Mirotic instead and drains the jumper. Toronto, I mean, how long is the scoreless drought for Milwaukee? They still have 2 points in the quarter?
They have 2 points in the quarter.
Giannis, he'll take the three. Can he get the lid off the basket? Yes.
Of all ways.
Spot up three-pointer for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Siakam waves everyone away. He wanted to go at Mirotic. Instead, they'll run the offense. Kawhi denied by Middleton. Swing it to the other side. Gasol's telling Lowry to balance the floor. Back screen for Kawhi comes. Lowry stopped by Middleton nicely. Late clock. Van Vliet has to create the 1-foot runner. And nice job by Mirotic tracking back for the board. 1 point Toronto lead. They try to post up Giannis. Mirotic on the drive. Here's a drive by Brogdon to that strong right hand, and he hits his first.
I thought he lost that ball switching it from his right to his left, but still made the shot.
Yeah, nice drive and kick sequence there for the Bucks.
Yeah, and they're getting into a little bit more of an offensive rhythm here. But still, I mean, a floater by Brogdon and a 3 by Giannis to make the 5 of their 7 points.
I mean, they've gotten some open ones, too. Here's Siakam, another floater in the lane. That one just a little bit closer than some of the ones he's had. And you can tell he has confidence attacking Mirotic. Brogdon forced to his left by Van Vliet. Tries to finish right. Can't. Gets it right back, though. Lucky bounce. And Milwaukee retakes a 1-point lead.
That might have been a delay game warning. We'll have to see.
3:11 remaining here in the quarter. Toronto has done well so far, but still currently trail. Lowry setting the screen for Siakam. 4-1 pick and roll. Gasol swinging it to Van Vliet. I'd like to see Powell get back in this game here. He's been so good in this series. Leonard breaks the ankles of Middleton. Pulls back for the 3, but another in and out 3 for the Raptors. Here's Giannis. They load to him. He should have more space now with Mirotic out there. Goes through Van Vliet. No foul call. Good no call. Van Vliet stayed in front of him on the Euro step. Siakam in and out dribble, back out, Van Vliet, corner Kawhi, good close for Middleton, and he either traveled or stepped up out of it. And Van Vliet's wide open there. Like, he's got to take that shot. We've said that a number of times about Toronto in this series. If you are open, you need to shoot it. Don't throw it to the corner because someone is going to have closed that guy down by that time, and that's exactly what happened. Fred Van Vliet's an excellent shooter. He's open. Just take it. Bledsoe guarded by Siakam. They've had success with Siakam helping off Bledsoe in this series. Green forcing Brogdon further out on the floor. Brogdon going to go at Green. Swing it to Bledsoe. He attacks Leonard. No advantage gain there. Now Brogdon off the pump fake. Into the lane. Giannis will take another spot up three. Not there. Lopez dominating on the offensive glass. He beasted Ibaka that time.
Yeah, and Siakam was out of position, couldn't get back into position.
Siakam was who he beasted, I should say, not Ibaka. Lowry, jab step on Lopez, who's switched out on him. He's got the baseline. Hill looking to help. Lowry going to his left where he's more comfortable, and he drains the step back on Lopez. Tie game.
Tie game at 43.
Hill, they go under on him and switch it. Now Giannis at the nail. Instead, Bledsoe jacks the three immediately. They had the mismatch for Giannis. Bledsoe maybe a little thirsty on that one. Lowry back to Green. He's way out there. No good.
Not quite the same bounce as Siakam's.
Giannis, the crossover. Leonard coming over, and they're
Lowry grabbed
got
him.
A foul on the reach in by Lowry, but we'll see if that's free throws or not.
It feels to me like this has been a pretty fast-moving quarter. Probably there haven't been that many fouls, and just a lot of missed shots. I would call that a shooting foul because the only reason Giannis didn't get more into his jump shot was because Lowry grabbed his arm and never let go.
Yeah. Middleton will take that spot lower on the free throw line. Bucks back to their starting group for the final 119. Plenty of time here for Giannis to catch his breath.
Yeah, and he hasn't even started dribbling yet.
He looks exhausted right now.
And this will be the 9th free throw for the Bucks, so that means there'll be an equal number for both teams. Toronto made 8 out of 9. Now they've made 6 out of 9.
Clock didn't start, at least not the one on TNT. It's frozen on 119. Here's Siakam on a beautiful roll. Great lead pass from Leonard. Leads to the open three from Green, and he can't get it. Danny Green has just not been able to find the touch. Now here's Green picking up Giannis in transition again. And again, they had guys back.
Kawhi was back.
Danny Green picks him up just so he can get completely dominated in transition again. That one is a little more defensible, but still, it is not working. Kawhi, size advantage on Brogdon. Short, then long on the bounce. Giannis looking to push it to a sizable lead here for Milwaukee. They got the 2-for-1 opportunity. Into the lane. Bledsoe. Kawhi forces him to drive, and Bledsoe goes into 3 guys. I didn't see a foul there.
No, it looks like he was avoiding the contact with Lowry, and then Green got the ball clean.
I don't know who that's on here.
There was a shitload more contact on that than there was on the...
By the way, that dunk by Giannis, absolutely incredible. To hold the ball above your head as you are driving and then just be able to dunk it. Like, do you know how hard it is to jump when you already have your arms above your head before you start jumping?
It's insane. Almost as insane as the ESPN box score still not working.
So, from a tie game, Milwaukee on a little run here. Toronto probably not time for the 2-for-1 with 32.9 remaining. Couple of free throws, staking the Bucks to a 6-point advantage.
And at 32, you need to push pretty fast if you're going to try to get a 2-for-1.
Yeah, you're just not going. You can't call.
You have to pass it to half court.
Yeah, they'll be. I think they're just going to run their offense here. They get the switch of Bledsoe onto Kawhi. Siakam, another corner three. And finally, Pascal Siakam hits one, and that was a key make for Toronto. Giannis rolls the ball up. Now he picks it up. He's at the top against Kawhi. They're going to try and bring Brogdon into the screening action here to involve Green. Green switching onto Giannis. Giannis has dominated the matchup. Into the lane. Green looked to foul him. Instead, Giannis turns it over. Lowry couldn't get it. Brogdon, and then he just throws it into the crowd.
It looked like he had Brook Lopez there. Maybe he was worried about Kawhi getting a hand on it.
Oh, yeah. If he alley-oops it to Lopez, it's a dunk. Now, Toronto, basically, you got to just throw it way into the front court. Oh,
the defensive, Sterling Brown defensive sub of a guy who has not appeared in the game.
Yeah, that's, I'm never a fan of that one, just from a being warmed up standpoint. Lowry tosses it ahead. Siakam, and it is intercepted by the aforementioned Green.
Look at those fresh legs from Sterling Brown setting it up.
Yeah, I said Green. I meant Brown. These color names are really confusing me here.
We've gotten a series of questions about the kind of the Durant injury and how it affects the conference finals. Do you want to save our thoughts for Dunked On, or do you want to talk about it now?
Yeah, let's save those. I want to kind of mull that over a little bit more.
That's fair.
And then we can talk about in context what happens with this game as well.
It's a fair point. Would a Juancho for Andre Robertson trade make sense for both sides? No, because Andre Robertson makes way more money, and Robertson, he's a great defender, but his offensive limitations would absolutely gut a lot of what Denver wants to do. Like, I mean, it's way more
if healthy, we're probably lower on Robertson and higher on Juancho than a lot of people are.
For me, it's more the money thing. I mean, if because you have to throw in filler salary. They do have trade exceptions. I guess that's true. But so like theoretically, if Kroenke said, "I'm willing to pay the tax and you can take on $10 million in salary," I think they could do better.
Well, and there's other guys they could throw in as well that may not be too consequential to match the salary. When you're talking about that low of a percentage. This post-nasal drip is real, man.
How would the Celtics with Kyrie and Anthony Davis stack up to the other East teams? So let's say their starting five is Kyrie, one of Brown or Tatum, Gordon Hayward, Anthony Davis, and Al Horford. That's
pretty damn good team.
Really, really good team.
I mean, now you have to see what the synergies are. I mean, that defensive front court would just be impossible to score on.
Yeah, my instinct would be. So I mean, it's them and the Bucks if the Bucks bring damn near everybody back, which is not a guarantee right now. I would like that team meaningfully better, and I also remember then the Knicks aren't getting Kyrie, so then they're not really in this mix either. We don't know what the Raptors would look like in that hypothetical, but yeah, they're in that elite camp. I would say, depending on how they
what
fill
a
out
top
their
four that would be if they get AD and Kyrie, that, and everyone else comes back in the East.
And that's I mean, it'd be ridiculous.
I don't think the Celtics can have all four of Kyrie, Hayward, Horford, and Davis.
I'm sure they can.
Well, the matching salary in the trade for Davis, but I think you can.
No, they can do it
there.
with Marcus Smart, and there are lots of ways they can. Now, is ownership willing to pay what would come with that? Mm-hmm. But I think Grousbeck has said before that if it's, I mean, you're paying the tax for a team that is insanely good in that circumstance. Like, you're a champion. They might even be the championship favorite because the Warriors, if the Warriors lose some guys, and they'd be at least right in the mix.
Catch up on some stats. Kawhi, it's funny, Danny. It seemed like Kawhi's been so quiet, but
well, he hit a bunch of jump shots.
Yeah, 13 points, 5 of 10, 2 of 4 from downtown, 4 assists. I thought he's passed it really well. He's gotten a couple of corner threes that they just haven't been able to knock down. Giannis, I think he's had a better half. Just his finishing has been atypically bad. 13 points, 5 of 12, 2 of 5 at the foul line. But he leads Milwaukee. Bledsoe has been better, 11 points. Brogdon with 12 on 5 of 9. He's been their most efficient performer. Mirotic continues to struggle. Team worst, negative 11, 0 of 4. The Mirotic and Giannis together lineups have not worked in this series.
And Milwaukee, normally such a huge strength for them, only 50% in the restricted area. They're 8 of 16 overall. Giannis, I don't have the exact stats on him, but it's worse than normal for him, to be sure. And they only have a 2 free throw advantage, so it's not like they're getting hacked a ton and then everything else. So nice job by Toronto contesting. Also some weird misses, to be sure. And the possession game so far is in Milwaukee's favor. Pretty even in turnovers, 7 for Milwaukee, 6 for Toronto. And, similar live ball totals. But then Milwaukee, 6 offensive rebounds to only 3 for Toronto. Remember, Toronto only had 1, I believe, in the whole first quarter. But then they missed a shitload more shots. I think I remember they had 2 missed threes where they got the offensive rebounds. I think those were their 2 in the second quarter.
Yeah, and Toronto, 24 of their 42 field goal attempts have been three-pointers. They've hit 33% of those. And as you guys can see on your screen there, the overall offensive ratings pretty low here, 102.1 and 93.9. Big part of that is Toronto shooting pretty poorly on 2-pointers. Right now, 39% from 2.
Yeah, and how they've gotten to that 39% is interesting. So Toronto's only taken 7 shots in the restricted area, 5 of 7, and that's a Milwaukee strength that has come in, though the success rate is higher. 7 restricted area attempts in a half is pretty impressive. 5 from floater range, only made 1 of those. I believe that was Siakam, and then 1 of 6 from mid-range.
Should Pat Connaughton be getting more minutes than he is? He's only at 15 minutes per game. I don't think so.
He's their 4th best guard. So that's, in the playoffs, you expect to see those guys get more minutes. No, I don't think so. And Connaughton, he works best in small bursts because he plays with energy. If you play him more, you're going to be stretching him in some capacity or another. And he definitely has flaws that are overcome when his shot is falling and he's, being more impactful defensively. But I think the more you play him, especially if you square up his minutes with another team's good players, I think the more those will come to the forefront. But, if a guy's in foul trouble or whatever, you can scale him up. But I don't think you need to do that especially in a game like this when Bledsoe's playing a little bit better. Not great, but a little bit better.
Yeah, and I think Connaughton is a little jumpy defensively. I don't think he's a great one-on-one defender. His 3-pointer to me is iffy. What makes Looney good? That's a good one for you to answer while I take a short break here.
Sure. So Looney, one of the best ways to put this is that he adds things to the table and takes very little off. Other than if you want to say he has made way more, a shocking amount of mid-rangers this year, a shocking frequency. The amount isn't a ton. But he, defensively, he can recover well. He's pretty good at switching. He's a very good rebounder offensively and pretty solid on the defensive glass as well. So and then another important benefit for the Warriors is he does 2 other things that are more valuable to them than anybody else. So one is he is a solid screener. I don't think he's a particularly imaginative screener, but he's an enthusiastic screener. And sometimes that's enough because if you just keep setting screens for Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Kevin Durant, they're going to get open at points. And then the other element that is really important for him with the Warriors is he doesn't want or need the ball in his hands very much. And there are so many players that you could argue are more talented than Kevon Looney, but you don't want anybody taking the ball away from the Warriors' best guys. So that makes him a better fit for a team like them, like theoretically the Rockets or a few others, where you don't need a center who's creating mismatches, who's going to, force the other team to double or anything like that. All you need is somebody who can try hard, who doesn't take bad shots, and Kevon Looney does neither of those things. Do you think DJ Wilson should play? No. He's not good enough to play, at least from what I saw in this series. Remember that when you're in the postseason, your starters play a higher proportion of the minutes, and so that means there are fewer left over. And I would argue that if anybody in their front court is going to play more, it should be Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is meaningfully better than DJ Wilson. What kind of contract do you see Looney getting this summer? I think he's going to get... So in terms of annual value, I do not know on years. My instinct is that he gets somewhere between 3 and like 5.5, 5. I think the taxpayer MLE is like 5.7. I have trouble until we get into it all the way. I have trouble remembering where it is for a given year. I think that's going to be his range. Looney's problem is that I don't think too many teams are going to see him as a starting center, and even starting centers who aren't unambiguous starting centers are going to get limited money this year because of all the other guys that are going to get it and because of the supply. So how much better for most teams is Kevon Looney than the best center that specific team can get for the minimum? Better, but not dramatically so. Trade CJ for Drew. Is Portland better? I do like the CJ Dame fit, but I think having another versatile defender, and Drew, I like him better on 1s and 2s than on 3s, though he's had to do that at moments. I don't know. I had Drew on my All-NBA team this year, and I did not have CJ. But you also run into, for Portland, the fact that Drew makes more money, and then that pushes them closer to the luxury tax. But if the question is just, does Drew for CJ make Portland better, ignoring everything else? Yeah, I would say so.
Is it strange that Tony Snell hasn't seen any meaningful playoff minutes? Well, you remember he had that sprained ankle right at the end of the regular season, so I think it was hard for him to establish himself back in the rotation. But yeah, certainly when Brogdon was out, you would have thought, but I think they believe that Connaughton is more impactful as a defender, more athletic, better transition player. I think Snell's a more reliable shooter, but he's kind of just a wallflower out there. I think he's just really fallen out of favor with Bud.
Snell could be a fascinating buy low player depending on what Milwaukee is looking for, because if they're primarily
how can he be buy low at $11 million a year though?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If Milwaukee sees him as a significantly negative asset, kind of like what happened with DeMarre Carroll, where the team that's trading him is like, oh shit, we need to get off their money, and then he actually helps the team that he goes on. I think he could be that sort of a circumstance. And Milwaukee's going to be looking to shed salary. So then it's a buy low for that other team, theoretically. The problem for Snell is that he has, I believe after this year, it's 1 year and then a player option. So player options always detrimental to the team unless the guy makes a mistake. And so let's say it's Atlanta, theoretically. I think of them as the default, like could have money left. Tying up 2 years of salary is more than I think that Travis Schlenk would want to do.
More questions on the All-NBA teams. We'll talk about that extensively on Dunked On tonight.
Is the Gasol trade looking good now? I think it was always looking good for them because getting off of CJ Miles money, Marc Gasol I think is more likely to opt out than Valanciunas, which gives Toronto more flexibility. They don't know what's going on with Kawhi, get all that. So, and I think Gasol, he justified that trade in the first 2 rounds. DeLon Wright would help that team. Valanciunas would help, but Gasol is better than both of them. And DeLon Wright, there's a chance that he gets underpaid because he's a restricted free agent, but him just getting a raise means a lot for the Raptors next year because remember, they already have Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet on their books. They have 3 point guards making, let's call it $45 million. That's a lot.
Is this season Milwaukee's best chance to win a title? That's an interesting one. I think they the fact that simply that they are here already, that they have home court advantage, that they've done
That
as
they're
much as
largely
they
healthy.
can. The fact that Kevin Durant is not going to play to open the NBA Finals is going to really be helpful. Now the Warriors will probably be broken up next year as far as KD, but they'll also be likely, and KD may come back at some point. I think you just have to say probably they haven't had any injury concerns. I mean, if you could guarantee me that they're going to be fully healthy next year, I don't think that their competition is as hard, especially with the Warriors out there. But yeah, I probably would say it is, just based on the fact that they are here right now, and we know that they've successfully traversed, 95% of the season already.
Yeah, and I think the Durant injury is another huge factor because the finals, even if he comes back and is like somewhat limited, which seems possible, that's a very different thing than him being back in full strength, like many probably hoped.
What platform are we looking at to take questions? All of them.
You're on.
I turned it off to
Cough.
do more. What's the difference between a catch and shoot shot and a shot from a spot up? Generally, probably nothing. The definition of a spot up expands a little bit when you look at platforms like Synergy. They count drives off when you spot up initially and receive a pass in their spot up calculation. And that's transferred to NBA.com when you look at that. But generally not much. It's kind of the same thing. I mean, you could probably say someone is spotting up if they fake it and take one dribble to the side and still shoot a three. So I think it just encompasses a little bit more, but they're largely the same thing, I think.
It's an interesting question from Elias Smith. Do you think any team will overreact about not getting anyone this summer and trade for a Chris Paul-like contract? So I'm going to imply that like as a significant contract that runs for, let's say, more than 2 seasons, because like Mike Conley's going to get traded, and I don't think that's necessarily an overreaction. And I do think so, maybe not at the Chris Paul level, but another thing, what cautions me against making as strong a declaration there is that there aren't that many really big contracts running out that far at the moment because of some of the structural elements, like half the league hitting free agency this year. So there aren't as many of those guys, but I definitely think somebody's going to have space, and it's going to freak them out that they didn't get anybody. Will an AD trade happen before the draft? I was more confident that it would before they got the number 1 pick, because now, I mean, that opens things up a little bit, and I mean, the public posturing could also be private posturing as well. So I'm less confident, and before the draft, I think it could happen, like right at the beginning of the draft. That's all basically the same thing.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Spot up is standing there waiting for the ball, catch and shoot. You could be running off screens or something like that. All right, we're back here. Leonard, 3-1 pick and roll, gets Bledsoe onto him. Now a flare screen for Lowry. Nice action by the Raps, and they've tied the game at 49. They run the 3-1 pick and roll, then a flare screen from Siakam for Lowry for the bucket. Now Bledsoe into Leonard. That's a third on Leonard. He remains mystified, and he was just kind of standing there. Bledsoe and Lowry are starting to do I'm just going to run into some guy and hope that they call the foul. Or run into his side, rather. Bledsoe has Lopez on the roll, goes to the pull-up 2, and he's now 3 of 3 on those mid-range 2s. And Kyle Lowry is like, hey, that should be a delay a game also. You called us for a delay a game earlier. Same set that they ran last time. Switch it. Now Siakam screening for Leonard to involve Lopez. They do not switch it. Oh, what a block from Giannis out of the left corner. That was fantastic. Incredible block. It looked like Siakam was going to cruise in for the layup.
Yeah, he came all the way in, got it with the edge of his right hand. Really impressive.
So interesting, the Bucks did not switch that pick and roll involving Lopez. Here's Giannis going into Kawhi. That leaves Brogdon wide open for a 3. Great pass from Giannis, but Brogdon just couldn't convert.
Yeah, and a nice job using the angle that was available. It was kind of a behind, like not a behind the back pass, but by the side, and that got caught by Danny Green.
Looking to screen Kawhi out of the corner. Middleton. Now the screen comes from Lowry to go at Bledsoe. Kawhi back to goal against Bledsoe, looking to draw the double. Goes to the baseline. Lopez, great verticality from Lopez, but then he fouls Kawhi on
What
the
hands
rebound.
by Kawhi to just grab that ball and hold on to it long enough to draw the foul. That's really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, Lopez remaining extremely difficult to score on inside. I think the minutes that are going to decide this game to me are what happens when it's Ilyasova or Mirotic next to Giannis. Will their defense hold up? Lowry into the lane, picked up by Lopez. Time running down. Lowry finds Siakam. Nice pass, right on time. But Siakam, again, man, he just could not hit a corner three in this series. Lopez, Middleton has got no looks at all. Great job by Gasol running him down. Here's Lopez on the drive for the jam. Gasol, his luck ran out that time as Lopez went right past him along the baseline. It was a good possession earlier for
Well,
him.
in the difference of Kyle Lowry being the help defender versus any other Raptor, because Lopez just went through him.
Here's Kawhi right down the lane, and Middleton forcing him left, but that they just gave him the opening. Giannis was on Gasol, and he did not help enough. Bledsoe, no advantage gained on Siakam. Now he steps behind the Lopez screen and drains it. Eric Bledsoe hitting shots has been exactly what the Bucks have needed here, with Middleton being shut down tonight.
Yeah, Middleton's only taken 3 shots in the game and has missed all of them.
Now they do go back to switching. Kawhi creating a ton of space on Lopez, but couldn't get the shot. Brogdon going at Lowry. Quick shoots him nicely.
I'm surprised Lopez went in on that instead of just spotting up at 3. I mean, Brogdon still got the shot off.
So since Toronto tied it at 49, nice run from the Bucks. Leonard, Gasol swings it to Lowry. Nice close from Bledsoe. Siakam with the size advantage in the post on Middleton. Out to Lowry. Bledsoe lost him. 3 is off.
And now Brook Lopez plus 14 in this game. I
Yeah,
think that's
much as he was one of their best plus-minus guys before. Here's Lowry trying to draw the charge. No call is made, interestingly enough. I kind of like that no call, and the Bucks destroying Toronto early in this half. They're going to get another timeout, much as what took place at the beginning of the first half.
Yeah, so that's an 11-5 run to start the third quarter for Milwaukee, pushing the lead from 3 to 9. I think that could be a really important margin stretch.
And great to see that someone manually updated the ESPN box score at halftime, and then it has not changed.
Yeah, I know. I got so excited for like a second and a half, and then no. Does collecting a blocked shot count as a rebound? Yes, I believe it does. Doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And I believe it does for either, like whether you're an offensive player or a defensive player. Would you trade Zion for LeBron? Hell no. Like, Zion is on a massive team-friendly contract and is 18 years old, turning 19, for 7 years of team control. Now, there could be specific circumstances where if a different team had gotten the number 1 pick, maybe. But, I mean, LeBron's 34 years old. He's turning 35 in December. He's awesome, and there's an argument to be made that he'll be better than Zion over the next 3 years. I expect that he will be in the aggregate, but he makes a ton more money, and, you know, the future versus the past. Is there any reason why you like ESPN box score specifically? Yes, there are a couple. So there's an add-on. I wish I remembered the name of it.
Enhanced ESPN NBA box
Enhanced
score.
ESPN box score.
Chrome. It's
So
an extension.
It's an extension. It puts the teams side by side, and it automatically updates. So for our purposes, that's really good. So then,
and it's got all the
it has
estimates.
it has estimates for the advanced stats. I don't use that as much because of the other, like what you can see on your screen there, but just having things that auto-populate and that you can have it on a single screen and get, you know, player stats, team stats, and trust that it's either accurate or really close to it is so nice to have. It looks like they manually updated it again, so hooray.
Do you like tacos? Yeah, sure, but I'm more of a burrito guy.
So am I.
So I generally, if I have the option, I mean, usually I'll get a burrito and maybe like a taco or two.
Oh, that's an interesting one from Maxwell Coughlin. In 3 years, do you think the term Sour 19s is going to be a term for contracts this offseason? I do not think there will be as many, or nearly as many, as there were in 2016. But there will be
2020
some.
is the one I'm more concerned about.
Yeah, we'll
see
We'll
how
see.
much-
I don't think there's going to be as much money left. I think teams
Yeah.
are going to spend recklessly this summer. And
Yeah, or
but they
they'll
might spend.
stretch more, shift money later. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you could. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, there's not that many teams that can spend recklessly. Peanut butter tacos, that could probably be good. I really enjoy like a peanut butter bacon burger. All right, we're back. Kawhi off the screen. They don't switch that one. Now Kawhi goes into Lopez. They do switch. Creates a space, and Lopez bothered him again. That length of Lopez is really just causing major problems. Lopez closed down by Lowry. Has him on his back.
How open is Malcolm Brogdon right now?
Here's Giannis double teamed. I don't like the way he just dribbles away into the corner when he gets double teamed. I think he's got to try to stand tall because you just take away your passing angles that way, and you're going to throw this long looper. He's got to be stronger with the ball, stand there, and let guys cut off of him rather than just retreating into the corner.
What you just said is really important. It also makes it harder for teammates to get into his sightlines because you don't know where his sightlines are going to be.
Giannis off the screen, goes at Gasol, spins back into Gasol, and he's hacked. And great strength from Giannis there. Kawhi was waiting to strip him, and Giannis just went right through him, right through Gasol, and he'll go to the foul line.
And so over the course of the game, the Bucks have worked their way after that disastrous first half of the second quarter. They're back over a 111 offensive rating. And Toronto still doesn't have many offensive rebounds. They're at 4 for the game.
Giannis still does not have the touch at the line. Now 2 of 6. You're starting to see guys really go for these offensive boards when he shoots the free throws now. A danger time for Toronto now. After they tied it at 49, it was looking good for them. Powell off the screen, guarded by Giannis. Now Gasol, Van Vliet pick and roll. Van Vliet, not really a good switch player. He's going to try and go at Lopez. Not an advantage matchup here. Into the lane. Tries to pass it out. Again, Lowry wasn't even open, but Van Vliet, great job getting to the corner. Beautiful behind the back pass. They missed another open three. Bledsoe got there just early enough to disrupt it. Now Giannis beasting Kawhi down low for the dunk. And Milwaukee starting to look like themselves again offensively.
And that was a really nice, it was basically like an early seal transition play, and Giannis just works his way into position. Beautiful play.
I got to say, as Lowry's going to pick up the foul here, I don't know that I care for this alignment from Nick Nurse. Kawhi at the 4. Van Vliet, who just cannot do anything against a switch offensively. They're really small, so they can't help as well. And I think they need Siakam to punish some of these switches. I know he hasn't shot it well. Maybe he's down on him because he's missing these threes. He's 2 out of 6 from 3. It's not terrible. But I think you're not going to win this series, to me, if Pascal Siakam is not prominently involved. I think you got to continue as Kawhi. Wow, Kawhi just poked him right in the face. I didn't see that on that previous play.
Another reminder of how physically dominant players get fouled so much more than everybody else.
Yeah. Lowry has gotten to the foul line again for 4 of 4. 10-point game. Giannis screens for Lopez, who cuts into the lane. They get the switch. Ibaka has come on for Gasol. He's guarding Giannis. Help coming from Van Vliet at the nail off of Bledsoe. Giannis just going into Ibaka and just had nowhere to go. The entire possession, he had nowhere to go at all. And they're going to get a timeout. It looks like Giannis might have sprained his ankle a little bit here. See if we can catch what happened there.
Or like hurt his arch of his foot or something.
It was, what is his left foot that he was that was bothering him, or the right?
Right.
Yeah, I didn't see him. Yeah, I didn't see him really do anything to it. Watching the replay.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it. Yeah, I thought I saw more of something with his left, so if I remembered that part of it wrong, then no.
Favorite and least favorite part of the league year?
Favorite for me, July and October. July because we're seeing all the players move and analyzing that, and then October because we get to actually see it in action. There are lots of times like I love the playoffs, but which part of the playoffs I enjoy most changes more. So there's always something there. Like this year was the second round. So the second round, that was May. May has been a fantastic month for basketball. But I can say right now that I'm going to really enjoy July and October no matter what happens. Least favorite, I mean, I guess we're not going to count August and September. There's a dog days right after the All-Star break, like in March, that it's just weird. I don't enjoy that usually. It kind of feels like you're just kind of waiting for it to be over. That's usually my least favorite month.
If you're checking the box score for a game you didn't watch, first things you look at to tell the story of the game, probably the 3-point shooting for both teams, both attempts and makes would be number one.
3-point shooting, possession game, like was there a big difference in turnovers, steals, offensive rebounds?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Dominant, like scoring performance, anything really unusual, that kind of thing. Any chance Kawhi joins LeBron and the Lakers? Any chance test? Yeah, of course. He could like what the Lakers offer. I don't expect it, but there's a chance for sure. Any tips for a Vegas Summer League first-time goer? If you know which days you're going to games, buy your tickets ahead of time because they actually do sell out. Now, oh yeah, that's true. The Lakers got the 4th pick, so they'll have another person this year that'll draw. I mean, maybe they'll have traded that pick, in which case they'll be less interesting. But and especially on that opening weekend, there are just a ton of like just people around, especially LA people. So buy your tickets ahead of time. It's you need to plan on, if it's a crowded day, less movement between the gyms than you think. Like if pick your priority and make sure you have a good spot for that. It's a little easier for us because we have dedicated seating areas. Should the NBA consider going to a 72-game schedule? I'd like to see them cut it further than that, but 72 would be a lot better than 82, so yes.
Yeah, 58 would be my preferred number. Over the same amount of time. Play each team once, or at home and once away.
In favor of 1 to 16 playoff seeding. So conceptually speaking, I understand the limitations and I understand why it won't happen. I think it's more fair, but yeah, in an ideal world, sure.
All right, we're back here. Try to get the back door to Giannis. Great job by Powell switching onto him. Middleton just has to jack it. Powell lost the rebound and he's going to get tied up.
We'll see who they give the jump to here. I'm guessing it'll be George Hill, though. I thought he lost control of the ball and Mirotic stayed on it.
So Powell is down. I'm not sure what happened to him.
I think Hill kind of fell into him. Not particularly.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell from the replay what the issue was.
Oh, he hit the back of his head on.
Oh yeah, he got it cracked in the back of his head
by George Hill's thigh.
Yeah. It's all right. Another timeout. Yay! Would you personally prefer to see Kawhi in Toronto or with the Clippers or with the Lakers?
I really like him on this Raptors team, and Siakam's going to keep getting better. I'm a little bit worried about Lowry and Danny Green. I am really intrigued by the Clippers. I think without knowing what else the Clippers are going to do, I would go Toronto over Clippers, but then both of them over the Lakers. But if you were to tell me specific other players were also going to the Clippers, I could move them over Toronto.
Do you know who is the only Uruguayan player to ever play in the NBA? Ah, shit. I did know this at one point.
I do not.
Is it like... I think I want to say his first name starts with an E. It's like Eduardo or like Esteban or something like that. All right, anyway, we're back here. Kawhi off the switch on Lopez. Van Vliet just eluded Bledsoe and gets a wide open three. And Eric Bledsoe fell asleep there, did not change his angle in between the passer and the spot up man. And great job by Van Vliet
That's
moving.
a tough layup by Brook.
Yeah, Brook more effective going to his right on those drives. Van Vliet has another chance. Powell ran into him himself, but Van Vliet hits anyway. Wow, what a run from Toronto. They're right back within 4 all of a sudden. Van Vliet was comatose throughout the playoffs until these last 2 games. Bledsoe, he'll take his three-pointer. Not there. Good job on the box out, forcing Lopez under the rim.
5 on 3.
Lowry looking for Van Vliet, and Lopez got back onto him. Leonard into Giannis. Lowry on the drive. He's got Leonard. Swing it. Powell, his three-pointer. Oh, that could have brought him within 1. It'd been a third straight 3. Now Bledsoe on the push at Lowry. Good job by Lowry stepping out. Middleton. Lowry steps up again. Drive by Middleton. Floater. Nice help from Ibaka. Forced it into a tough shot. Here's the inside-out dribble from Kawhi. Back out to Powell. He gets into the lane, and he's going to get fouled by Middleton.
Neither team in particular difficulty yet. I believe that's the 3rd foul on Milwaukee, 3 for Toronto. So getting closer, but probably right around the last 2 minutes.
Esteban Batista. That's right.
You were close.
I should have remembered that. Yeah, I think he was... I want to say he played maybe in like the 2007
Was
era.
he on the Hawks? I don't remember. It's before my time. Actually, not really, but I like to say it is to get me out of it.
No way anyone knows that. I should. The Uruguayan player. I deserve some credit for at least getting his first name right. And it was the Hawks.
Yes.
Nice job, dude.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's like just like a distant NBA 2K7 memory or something like that. I'm proud of that. It's a small victory.
All right, back to live action. Raps now within 3. Hill, help comes from Powell at the nail. No advantage game. We got Sterling Brown in for Milwaukee for the first time in some real minutes. Late clock, now it's Hill. Creates the long 2 on Ibaka.
Nice
Lopez
tip out.
keeps it alive. Middleton. Now Connaughton did not have his feet set. Did not matter. Big 3 from Connaughton to push it to 6.
Now they're 7 of 21 from 3. Toronto 11 of 31.
Kawhi wants the ball from Van Vliet. They set the screen. Kawhi wants to go at Sterling Brown. Instead, Van Vliet going nowhere, just wasting time. Instead, Ibaka with the 3. I mean, man, these challenges, Danny, from Brook Lopez, he's surprising these jump shooters every time with his length. And now, that's got to be a foul, right, on Van Vliet.
It looked like he chucked him.
Not much consistency on that call tonight. Van Vliet on the drive, trying to draw his foul. Hey, well, there's some consistency there. He didn't get that bullshit call. Middleton. Lopez, way out. Not there. Up and down action now. A little fatigue, and Sterling Brown will get called for the reach on Lowry.
Budenholzer, emboldened by his huge defensive stop at the end of the first half, bring Sterling Brown in for a few minutes at the end of the third.
Well, what he's really doing is he's playing Brown instead of Ilyasova.
Yeah, which I can understand.
Or Mirotic, for that matter. That's those 2 guys. And we said, hey, what happens when those 2 guys come in the game? Well, Bud didn't want to find out.
Well, Ilyasova's in now. So.
Oh, is he?
So
yeah, so maybe it's Mirotic then. Brogdon returns as well. See who he's going to get. Middleton.
So this lineup, so it's Brogdon, Connaughton, Hill. This is so small.
Yeah,
Ilyasova,
Ilyasova at center, and Connaughton, I guess you would say, is the 4.
him or Sturridge
Raps
Brown.
are pretty small too, but I think Siakam could take advantage with his size. Here's a drive by Ibaka. Cannot get the layup, though. Good help came from Connaughton. Neither superstar on the floor right now. I think the Raps have the advantage with these lineups at the moment. Brogdon. Screen comes from Ilyasova. They switch it. Brogdon with that inside-out dribble. Great help by Van Vliet. Bottled him up along the baseline, and they'll have 5 to shoot.
Malcolm Brogdon did something I really liked there. He was kind of losing it. He saw Van Vliet standing out of bounds and just threw the ball at him. It was like, okay, well, we know we're going to get the ball that way.
Baseline out of bounds. Bucks don't really have a shooter here to get a catch and shoot. They get it into Brogdon. Now Ilyasova over help from Lowry. Ilyasova can't make him pay, though. Lowry looking to push it again. He's got Brogdon on him. Now they'll swing it. Powell. They want to post up Ibaka on George Hill. Help's got to come. See if it's baseline or from the top here. Out to Powell. He gets past Connaughton. Swings it back out. Van Vliet is open. Van Vliet has scored. 63-66. I hate when people say the lower team score first. What am I doing? 3-point game. Ilyasova can't control it. Brogdon on the drive. And right on in. And what happens there is, even though Ibaka prevented him from shooting, because he didn't close out close enough, he then felt like he had to go for the pump fake, and Brogdon could blow right by him. Lowry going at Ilyasova. Now they're trying to post up Ibaka. Back to Lowry on Ilyasova. Finds Ibaka easily along the baseline, and Ersan Ilyasova switching on the perimeter does not work, especially when you got 4 guards playing behind him. Brogdon, now the screen for Hill. They love that screening action of a big, bringing the wing from the weak side to the top. Another play where Ibaka didn't get out far enough, and they score on him again. George Hill with the deep 3.
And being even close to even in these minutes is huge for the Bucks because they have such a huge talent disadvantage.
Couple of big shots here. Siakam into the lane. And he's got the size advantage again. They have no choice but to foul. Giannis is going to come back in at the next break, I think.
And Hill caught him on the arm. He's complaining about the call. But he hit Siakam, and the offensive guy was the aggressor. You're way smaller and you're ceding space. Like, if you impede him, it's probably going to be a call.
Yeah, and this is one of the limitations of the Milwaukee roster is they don't really have that kind of 3-and-D type of 3-4 other than Middleton, who's really more of a 2-3 type of player.
Yeah, that like strong 6'7", 6'8" type of guy.
Powell replaced by Kawhi. Giannis has returned as well. Those two players have their minutes matched up. So now Toronto getting a lot bigger with Siakam, Leonard, and Ibaka. Still a pretty small group here with Brogdon at the 3 for Milwaukee. Good switch by the Raps, but now it's Giannis in the post. He's a little more aggressive this time. Swings it. Brogdon, corner. Hill, great corner 3-point shooter. Can't get it. Here's the push coming from Siakam. He's got Connaughton back. Back to Van Vliet. Does not take it. They swing it instead to Leonard. His 3 over Brogdon is good.
And the Bucks never had a set defense there. They were able to keep swinging it around and got an open look.
Yeah, and Ilyasova went for the offensive rebound. Did not get it, and that left them a little out of balance in transition. Giannis against Siakam. Siakam pressuring, but he's going to get called for his 3rd.
It is significant that Siakam made it this long before picking up his 3rd foul. Because remember, he picked up 2 early in the first quarter and then didn't get one until now.
Raptors have the 3-pointer going of late, now up to 13 of 33, 39% for them. Bucks 8 out of 25.
Yeah, and that's plus 15 in points at the 3-point line.
Oh, they get the Raptors with the cheeky little back cut. No one ever switched onto him. Van Vliet just jogged along. Kawhi didn't want to switch off of Giannis, and they just get a wide open layup at the rim off a sideline out of bounds. That was awful. Leonard trying to get Giannis in the air, now swings it, wants it back. Jabs off Giannis. This is a fun matchup here with 5 on the clock. Leonard creates space. Hooks, not even close. I think Giannis can do a great job on him individually. Here's Hill in transition, and they score again.
There were 3 guys back, all of them looking at Giannis, so George Hill just runs straight to the basket.
Yeah, he creates the panic. So Milwaukee extending the lead again once Toronto had closed within 1. Raps looking for the 2-for-1. Lowry is wide open off the Van Vliet screen. It does not drop. Oh, Leonard comes in, and he'll draw the foul on Giannis. Great job by Kawhi, recognizing that the offensive rebound had been tipped by Ibaka, and he came in and grabbed it.
And that Van Vliet screen, a reminder that guards can get away with absolute murder when they screen most of the time.
By the way, when Kawhi is guarded by Giannis, I thought he kind of took the challenge a little bit too personally here. I would like him to get a little bit better of a matchup. They were late clock, but he ran down a bunch of time just kind of jab stepping him. Who do you think's playing better right now?
I don't know. I would say maybe Milwaukee by a little bit, but I don't know. Because, I mean, Van Vliet going 5 of 6 from 3. It feels like something's going to tone down a little bit. They've been good looks, but...
Yeah. I mean, Toronto is an excellent three-point shooting team in the regular season.
And we talked about how they hadn't had one of those, 40% nights. They're getting closer now.
Bledsoe swings it. Powell, good pressure on Brogdon. They want to get Giannis at the elbow. They force him out on the floor. 4-second differential, shot clock to game clock. Giannis into the lane. He's got Brogdon in the corner. Missed him. Goes to the fadeaway instead. Toronto can push it up. They've got Van Vliet. He's going to pull up from way out. Ooh, almost. So 3-point game, 75-72 going into the fourth quarter. Really anyone's game right now.
Leading scorers, Kawhi Leonard with 20 and Giannis with 18. But a lot of other guys close. Van Vliet has 15. Bledsoe and Brogdon both have 16. Kyle Lowry with 14. And overall, I mean, remember how disastrous offensively the beginning of that second quarter was? They bounced back a little bit. 107 offensive rating for the Bucks, 101.4 for the Raps.
So, on the point of who's playing better, we'll get some questions in a second. Toronto, on their initial half-court offense, 93.2 offensive rating. It's about league average. Bucks, initial half-court offense, awful again, 79 offensive rating. They have gotten a few more offensive rebounds, but then transition, they've dominated off a live rebound. They've run 32% of the time, and they have a 170 offensive rating on those plays. And then on their few turnovers that they've gotten to run off of, they have a 300 offensive rating, which I don't think is...
You almost can't do better than that.
Yeah. So let's hit some questions.
How far back would you have to go to find a championship team that could beat a healthy version of the Warriors?
Could or would?
Well, could, you don't have to go back that far. But would be, expected favorites. Some of that also depends on which rules you're playing by. But, I mean, I've said before that I think the current, I mean, maybe not this specific year, but, one of the Durant years is the most talented roster that's ever been assembled. Just in terms of the
yeah, I mean, 2017 Warriors might be the greatest team of all time. But I think the 2013 Heat, especially before Wade got that bone bruise, that team could absolutely, especially with their ability to play small, the athleticism that they had, I think that would be an awesome series. And that Heat team, because of their struggles in the playoffs, they eventually did win, of course. And with Wade being injured, I thought that how good the talent is on that team was ultimately lost. Yeah,
to me, that 13 Heat team was the most talented team I had ever seen before the Durant Warriors. Can Landry Shamet be traded in combination with other players in an AD trade? Yes, it's a month, right? That's what's in my. No, how many of the aggregation? Why am I blanking on this? When a player can be included as salary in a trade having already been traded.
I think it's...
Is it 60 days? I have this in my head. I just don't have it in my head right now. I'm on the off season.
As far as aggregation?
Yes.
Well, aggregation, it's 60 days.
60 days, okay. But we're past that. I mean, basically, aggregation is never a factor in the first trade of a guy's offseason because the trade deadline to when you can trade guys again is longer than 60 days.
People saying 2014 Spurs against the 17 Warriors. I very much disagree with that. I think the Spurs would not have had a way to deal with the Warriors switching defense.
Yeah, and that San Antonio defensive like backcourt, that was a better Danny Green, but like I mean Tony Parker is going to have to do something.
Well, and arguably, in the regular season, certainly the 2016 Spurs were better than 2014.
Are these two Eastern Conference
Yeah,
teams?
we're going to be back here. Actually.
Okay.
Let's save it for next time.
Sure.
All right, 3-point game. Bledsoe, they switched that. No advantage game. Trying to get Giannis in the post. Help comes from Ibaka. Swing it to Middleton. Left-handed pass on a money to Brogdon, but the late close from Powell threw Brogdon off. Now they want to have Kawhi go at Ilyasova. They're switching this. Not conventional pick-and-roll defense. Trying to force Kawhi left. Trying to create space. Help comes from Middleton. And a foul is called. I think Bledsoe got him from behind.
Yeah, it looked like he caught him on the wrist. And I understand why he was helping there, but Kawhi was losing his balance, I think, even before. Oh, and he stepped on his foot. Okay, so maybe he wasn't losing his balance before Bledsoe fouled him because he fouled him twice.
Yeah, I'm a little skeptical of all these Ursan minutes, I got to say. Siakam hands off. They're going to go at him again. Kawhi gets past him, goes to the step back, tried to draw the foul, could not. Here's Powell into the lane. Swings it. Siakam, wide open corner three, wide open miss.
That's 7 threes by Siakam. I think all of them have been wide open.
They had one above the break. Here's a Brogdon trying to find Giannis. His pass deflected. Kawhi with the steal. He's going at Brogdon in transition, lays it up, and the touch is good. Kawhi Leonard with the steal, and he did something there as Milwaukee comes back. Now they're trying to post Middleton on Van Vliet. Middleton gets a great look and scores easily. They probably should have brought help. Van Vliet's looking at his teammates. But Kawhi did something there that I love, which is when somebody's trying to save it from out of bounds, just run in front of the nearest offensive player who's inbounds.
Because that's where they're trying to throw it.
Kawhi against Middleton. Much more Kawhi-so ball here. Trying to get to his right. Middleton won't let him. Now into the lane to his left. Fades away and scores. And I like what Kawhi is doing here with them forcing him left. What he's doing is attacking with the right first, forcing them to take that away, and then he has even more room to go left. Brogdon. Oh, he's pinned by Siakam. What a rotation. Kawhi looking a little tired here after he's gone one-on-one a bunch of times in a row, but he likes the matchup against Brogdon. Dribbling the air out of the ball like he's Harden. Powell goes away. Van Vliet going into the strong side corner. Crossover. Kawhi creates space with the push-off. Not there with the jumper. I think he probably should have given that up as tired as he was.
Only 2 blocks in this game for each of these teams. You could see them getting more in a different circumstance.
So this is going to be, it looks like a blocking foul on Kawhi. I can't remember.
I thought he dropped his shoulder.
I can't remember Kawhi ever trying to take a charge before. In fact, I think when I looked at it for that Sloan project I did, he only had me like 1 charge all year. And yeah, Ibaka did touch the rim. That should not have counted.
I think he might have touched the ball too. I mean, it doesn't matter. He touched the rim. It's still illegal. But
4th foul on Leonard.
And Giannis
And
still
that is
struggling.
more
from the
than
free throw
Giannis's 4th miss from the free throw line.
No, it is at least his 5th. I don't know if the 3 for 8 is updated or not.
Yeah, Bucks, again, Giannis has all 5 of their missed free throws. Only 3 Bucks have taken a free throw in this game. Meanwhile, Toronto has shot it great from the line this series, and they have again tonight 15 of 17. Giannis hitting the second. 2-point Buck lead. Van Vliet opens it up for Siakam. Handoff Leonard. He gets past Middleton, and Middleton is called for the foul again. The attacking the top leg of these Bucks defenders trying to force him left has been an effective strategy.
I think we mentioned this earlier in the game, but it bears repeating. Toronto is shooting 31% on 2s.
Well, yeah, it was 39% at half. Here's Kawhi goes in. Nice pass out to Gasol. Corner 3 is Powell, in and out. Thought Gasol had the better look there if he had taken it. Giannis going at Siakam. And just throws it away. Good idea, but George Hill had cut, leaving the pass to go into the corner and no one to receive it.
So we have a 2-point game in Milwaukee's favor with about 9 minutes to go.
Powell. Now Leonard, who looks exhausted. I think he might need to get a break here. Into the lane. That's a wide open 3 for Van Vliet. And Fred Van Vliet is now 6 of 7.
6 of 8.
6 of 8. Yeah, he missed that one
heave.
at the end of the quarter. Middleton, Lopez, Gasol steps up, blocking foul called, rightfully so, and Lopez will go to the line.
That's a great... I'm happy the ref called it that way. That was feet versus body. His feet were still, but his body was moving forward. That's a blocking foul.
Yeah, he also had the hands forward as well, then hits Lopez on the arm. Great strength from Brook Lopez. And Mark Davis, when he's on that baseline position, he ain't the one to try and draw a charge on. He has not been calling the charge tonight. Big free throw from Lopez after Toronto had taken their first lead in some time, I think since the first quarter. If they even ever led. That might have been their first lead. Leonard going at Lopez. We have not seen Mirotic. Here's Leonard's 3 is good over Lopez, who got a great contest. Is Kawhi Leonard going to have enough energy to take them home?
And Kawhi's 4 of 6 from 3 in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto, you mentioned it, the three-pointer has been their salvation with as badly as they've shot on twos. Giannis switching the angle of the screen for Bledsoe. No switch. Bledsoe, mid-ranger, not there. Van Vliet looking to push it. He's got Powell in the right corner. Now it's Gasol looking to swing it. Leonard has Lopez. They did not get matched up well. Leonard waves away Norm Powell. He wants to go at Lopez. Steps back. Good for 3. 4-point Toronto lead. Back-to-back three-pointers by Kawhi Leonard in individual offense against Brook Lopez. And Milwaukee in a little trouble here now. Down 4. I still think the fundamentals favor them a little bit, but Toronto is a good three-point shooting team. They've rediscovered that these last few games.
Kawhi Leonard, 30 points on 11 of 21 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3. Only gotten to the line 3 times, made all 3 of those, but then 7 assists and 1 turnover. Just a remarkably efficient night from him. Taking all comers. He did the last 2 3-pointers on Brook Lopez, who has done a really nice job closing out. Huge performance from him. Not to mention that he's played great defense on Giannis as well.
He's got 10 points in this quarter already.
Damn.
So let's reset here for a moment. Lopez is on 24 minutes. Who Mike Budenholzer is going to play is going to be an interesting question down the end. Bledsoe or Hill? I would imagine he's probably going to go with Hill, although Hill is negative 22 in this game. But he's shot it better and isn't going to make as many mistakes. Middleton struggling. He'll obviously be out there. Brogdon is probably going to be out there. So it's really kind of Hill or Bledsoe. Obviously Mirotic, we haven't seen him at all. Not going to be Ilyasova. Is he going to just stay with Lopez this entire rest of the way now? Is another question. Lopez usually doesn't play that many minutes. And then the switching. Leonard is starting to punish that. Are they going to say, hey, Lopez is getting good contests? Those are tough shots. Or are they going to say, hey, we got to switch up here, go back to the same defense we've had on Kawhi in the first couple of games?
Somebody asked if we're going to re-rank NBA players. Yeah, we will next March. But and the reason why we
we'll do the position rankings.
Yeah, and we'll do position rankings too.
Yeah.
But a big part of why we do them when we do, it's been very deliberate, is because you don't want to drag in a lot of like recency bias, especially for players who, like, let's say didn't play in the playoffs. Like you can get into all that sort of stuff, or if maybe it's a really good regular season player that just got a bad matchup like Vooch or something else like that. We do it deliberately when we do, and that's why.
Yeah, another point made in the comments of, is Bud going to stay with Giannis or take him out for that second rest the way he
Yeah,
normally
that's a great
does?
point. Have any recent series turned around more after Game 2 when Milwaukee was winning easily? I'm trying to think. I mean,
Well, you may remember this 2016 NBA Finals when the Warriors blew the Cavs out 2 games in a row.
yeah, I would. My thought was also to that OKC Warriors series, but the OKC had won one of those first 2, which is what allowed them to go up 3-1. But the ass kicking that they put on the Warriors in games 3 and 4 of that series is something that I'll remember forever because we were there. And like just they demolished them. It was incredible.
So a lot of comments that Giannis has to guard Kawhi. Couple of problems with that. Number one, Giannis can't get through a screen. So you set a screen and you get him right off of him anyway. Number two, Giannis is maybe your best help defender, and he's going to be very loath to help off of Kawhi when they're matched up. Big possession here for Milwaukee out of the timeout. And another huge factor we'll be watching, Danny, is the transition game. If the Bucks can't get in transition, do they have a way to generate enough offense? And can Toronto avoid mistakes, avoid crashing the offensive glass too much?
Avoid Danny Green picking up Giannis for no
Yeah,
reason.
well, Danny Green may not see the floor again.
That's a fair point.
Van Vliet's going to be exhausted, though. He's played a lot of minutes.
Yeah, he's
in a row if
he's
they
at
keep
he's
sitting
at
here.
29 now with 8 minutes to go, and yeah, you're right. I mean, like, cause he came in, I think it was like 4 or 5 minutes into the third quarter. I don't think he's come out.
Connaughton, Hill, Middleton, Giannis, and Lopez. They screened for Middleton to the top. He was not looking to shoot it, though. They switched this, trying to get Giannis in the post on Siakam. No help. Giannis. Oh, he's blocked by Siakam.
Siakam has all 3 of Toronto's blocks in this game.
Now Toronto will get into their ATO. Van Vliet directs traffic. Middleton off of Leonard off of Siakam's screen. Force him to the left again. Right into the lane. Floats it up, and a foul is called. I don't know who they got here for this foul. I think they got Giannis with a block.
With the low body
sliding
contact.
into Leonard. This block by Siakam was unbelievable, though.
Yeah, Giannis beat him to the spot, but the ball was still a little bit behind.
Yeah, and that's one where
Yeah, Giannis hit him in the chest. That's a good call.
That's one where if Giannis goes up with the left hand, he's good on that play.
And these are only Kawhi's 4th and 5th free throws this game, but he made his first 3.
Well, and I mean, Kawhi is killing this strategy, Danny, of forcing them left.
Yeah.
Like they haven't had the help at the nail, in part because, again, Toronto is hitting the three-pointer. That was what was so huge in Game 4, was they hit the threes early as Leonard, another 2 free throws to push the advantage to 6. Another half-court possession upcoming here for Milwaukee. They got a good look last time, and just a superlative play by Siakam. Hand off to Middleton. They want to get that switch again of Siakam onto Giannis. Middleton attacks Kawhi, no advantage gain. Now he's got Van Vliet. Wants to get to the mid-range, pull up. Van Vliet with the strip. Connaughton finding Lopez underneath. Blocked by Gasol. Here they're pushing it. Foul in transition. No, not called. Kawhi. And they're going to call a foul on Middleton, interestingly enough here.
Yeah, I mean, he got fouled way earlier, so the kind of the overall balance there is in favor of the Raptors. Yeah, and so Gasol he gets back. He was kind of helping on the pass to potentially Pat Connaughton, just stuffs Lopez at the rim there.
Yeah, Toronto. I mean, this is a wonderful Toronto defense. We say it over and over again, and I think a lot of people in Milwaukee who were scoffing at this team and how could I ever pick Toronto had lost sight of that fact. Kawhi wide open underneath. The pass was off, though. He's still got the size advantage on Brogdon. Great patience. Now he's got Powell. Gasol on his drive. Underneath Siakam. Stopped by Lopez. Back out. Van Vliet. Short clock. His jumper is off.
You shot too close.
Now they have a chance for transition. Giannis into 2 guys. Right into Gasol. Had nowhere to go. Lost it. Siakam pushing it. Powell, reverse, scores. No, sorry, he passed it back to Siakam. My TV froze there for a second.
Yeah, I think that might have been a missed layup that Siakam
Yeah, it was
corralled
a
and
missed
put
layup.
in.
Yeah, apologies. 8-point Toronto lead. Milwaukee now in a 10-0 run. There's a bad foul from Siakam on the floor. It'll be his fourth. Yeah, I mean, Giannis just has absolutely nowhere to go here. So Gasol is right in his path, and he overplayed the Euro step nicely.
Yeah, so I think Giannis blocked that, and then Siakam got the rebound.
That pass, that is just a fantastic pass.
He can do a ball fake just like
Jordan-esque. He's the only other person I've ever seen do something like that. Bledsoe on the drive on Van Vliet. Gets penetration, tripped. They want the foul on the floor. They're not going to get that, though.
And I think Nurse should try to look to get a minute or two at least of rest for Van Vliet here. He looks a little bit slow defensively. Everybody's gotten more rest than he has. He's playing really well, and so it's hard to do that, but I think you want to try to get him a couple.
Yeah, Lowry is still on the bench here. He hasn't been in for some time. And a question, if you're Nurse now, of who you are going to close with, I think it's probably going to be Lowry and Van Vliet. Powell has been pretty good, too.
Yeah, I would go Lowry, Van Vliet.
Yeah, but at the very least, you can get Van Vliet a rest here.
And they're not doing that, at least not right now.
Yeah, Lowry has played 33 minutes in this game, so not like he's fresh as a daisy. Leonard against Brogdon. Middleton getting a rest. Bucks crowd trying to exhort the defense. Kawhi has Gasol closed down by Giannis. Gasol against Giannis, fading away. Giannis went for the strip, but got a nice rebound by Lopez high above his head. Milwaukee looking to get more transition. Bledsoe right into the lane, scared off by Leonard. Lopez, Siakam with the close. Now Lopez's drive is good.
Lopez saw a lot of different defenders there, but nobody really got in his way.
Yeah, Lopez's drive game has been excellent. And Nick Nurse will take his time out here. This is his use it or lose it with 5:25 left, and presumably we'll see Lowry come back here. And I guess he's probably going to get Powell. Would be
that's my guess is he's just going to run Van Vliet to the finish line.
Yeah, Middleton. You think he'll probably be back? Giannis, this would normally be when he'd go out of the game, but it's tough to take him out at this point.
Oh, that's a good call. Somebody said of series that turned after game 2, 2012 West Finals, San Antonio OKC. That's a huge...
that's probably the ultimate one.
Yeah, San Antonio looked so good in the first 2 games of that series and then just got trucked.
Another one is 2013 West semifinals, Clippers and... Oh, it actually might have been first round. Yeah, Clippers and Memphis.
Oh, yeah.
After Blake Griffin... I think he stepped on a basketball in practice before Game 5 and was never the same. The Clippers won the first 2 in that series and ended up losing it in 6. Oh, another great one. 2005 first round, Houston-Dallas. Houston wins the first 2 in Dallas. Dallas wins the next 2 in Houston and ends up winning in 7 in a massive blowout in the 7th game. And similar to that was 95 West Finals, Rockets-Spurs. Is Kawhi better as a help defender or on ball? I'd say on ball.
Yeah, he's wonderful on ball.
Yeah, and I thought he dropped off a little bit as a help defender this year too.
Let me see.
That is not the series when the Clippers came back from down 27 in the 4th in Game 1. That was 2012. Those teams matched up again the next year.
Somebody asked what summer movie you're looking forward to the most. I don't even know what's coming out this year. I knew about Avengers, but that's already out. So I'll see. I'll see some stuff, though. One of the perks of our job, because I like seeing movies, we're a little bit different in that way, is the availability of seeing them during the day. So I just particularly don't like seeing things in crowds, so I can just go whenever I want. It's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of good comments here about series that turned a lot after the first two games.
Beyond a consistent jump shot, what does Giannis need to add to his game in the offseason? Um, I mean, the jump shot is the most important thing. If he could get,
A little more moves off the dribble, actually.
yeah, like a little bit, yeah,
like crossover in and out,
and a few counters would
Yeah.
be nice as well. That kind of goes along the same lines. Yeah, just a little bit more versatility to his offensive game.
Yeah.
I mean, he's phenomenal, and you only need those because there are teams that in the playoffs that are better at taking away what he does. I mean, he's already the MVP, but yeah, he can still get better.
All right, we're back here. Toronto on a 4-point advantage, and they can't get it in. Oh, man, that is a killer. So they're down to one timeout remaining now. That is a bummer for the Raptors. You call a timeout to run a play, and you don't even get it in. Catch up on some of the numbers. Neither team turning it over at all. Toronto's right there. The offensive glass, Bucks waning in that department, down to 18% offensive rebounds. And Toronto still shooting a ton of threes.
Yeah, I mean, 48% of their shots have come from three, which is pretty remarkable. And I talked before, so I think that was at the end of the third quarter. Kawhi and Giannis. Kawhi had 20 points and Giannis had 18. That was the margin. It's now 32-19 because of that 10-point early start for Kawhi.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with Kawhi. You imagine the ball's going to be in his hands a ton down the end here. Is he going to be able to produce, and what's the Bucks' strategy going to be against him? Now here's Kawhi on the drive as they took too long to get back. Siakam, baseline, good help from Giannis, and it just goes out of bounds. 9 to shoot for the Raps. We didn't see how it was that Kawhi got in there, but Giannis, great help possession there defensively, shut down a couple of drives. And Giannis is guarding Gasol now. They've got Lopez on Siakam. Here's the fadeaway from Kawhi. Gasol, beasting Giannis, did not want to go up with it. Instead, Siakam misses the floater, gets it back somehow. They'll reset with Kawhi up top. He's got Brogdon, screen roll going at Lopez. Conventional pick and roll defense now. Kawhi, baseline, out to Gasol, moving to his left. His three is good. Huge shot from Marc Gasol. 7-point lead. Now they don't match up in transition. Giannis along the baseline. Brogdon closed down by Lowry into the lane. Kawhi with the contest. Brogdon scores over him.
And that was Marc Gasol's first made shot of the entire game. 1 for 6 now, 0 for 5 before.
5-point advantage. Key bucket from Brogdon out of a semi-transition situation off the made three from Gasol. Screen roll again. Conventionals pick and roll defense again. Kawhi fading away. Not there. Siakam couldn't get the rebound. Here's more transition. Giannis going at Gasol. Picks up his dribble. Bledsoe on the drive. Nice job by Toronto getting back that time. Now Giannis is going to go at Gasol. He'll load up the three and hit.
What
Huge
a shot.
Three by Giannis. Not the way you would expect it to go, but a 5-0 Milwaukee run has them back within 2. Kawhi into the post to Gasol. Split cut action. Giannis knocks it away. Lowry. Oh, he went in the back court. No call. Now he's into the lane. Floats it up. And they're going to get a foul. What is this? Is this going to be on Lowry?
Yeah, I think they're saying Brook Lopez went into his body. I think.
Oh, man, that is a really tough call. Lopez does turn his body sideways, but he's jumping pretty much straight up. We've seen that not get called. Houston fans are wondering where the hell that call is. For James Harden, the entire Western Conference Finals on his floater. Lowry hitting the first free throw.
And after these ones, he's going to be the most prolific free throw shooter for the Raptors in this game. He'll be up to, I believe this is his 6th. And we talked about before, Milwaukee, they've only had 4 guys shoot free throws. Lopez only had 1. Toronto has 5 different guys that have shot free throws. Only one of them has 2. All of them are like 4, 5, 6.
Missed free throw that time from Lowry, and Kawhi almost had the board. Brogdon picked up by Siakam. Middleton, high screen roll. Lopez slips it. No advantage gain there. Now it's Brogdon's turn. Siakam gets right through the screen. Now they switch it. Brogdon attacking the point of the screen, and it'll be Toronto ball. Kawhi Leonard was wrong-footed just a moment. Brogdon tried to catch him before he'd fully switched on, and Kawhi recovered for the block off the backboard.
This is pretty amazing. Toronto plus 24 from 3, plus 5 from the line.
Gasol high screen roll with Lowry. No switch there. Instead, they get it to Siakam. Van Vliet off the weave action. Nothing going here. Van Vliet's going to have to just create one-on-one. Another screen comes. Van Vliet, here's Siakam rolling into Giannis, over his head. Great defense by Giannis off of Gasol in the corner. There wasn't time to get it to him. Now here's Brogdon, his 3. Leonard's late contest. He might have even got a piece of it. Offensive rebound. Lopez, his 3 is good.
What a pass by Malcolm
game.
Brogdon. Catches the rebound, throws it right to Brook Lopez for the open 3.
Lopez had Middleton maybe open as well. Took the 3 instead. Great look with his size. Tie game. And the switch of Giannis onto Gasol has worked really well here as they've gone back to conventional pick and roll defense as well. Kawhi creating space. Brogdon gets a hand. Here's a 3 from Van Vliet. That's good. Oof. Middleton wanted a foul on the flare screen by Gasol, and he might have had a pretty good case. Bledsoe going at Van Vliet. That sets up Giannis. Brogdon lobs it. What a pass. Fantastic work from Brogdon as Siakam and Leonard did not communicate quite well enough. That let Giannis get behind the defense.
And a nice angle there from Brogdon, throwing it above where they could reach because they were a little higher on the floor.
Kawhi, his 3 is short. Oh, what a rebound. He came in and got his own offensive rebound on a 3-pointer, and he's going to go to the line. He got shoved out of bounds.
And that's the 4th foul on Giannis. We'll end up seeing if that's important. If this game goes to overtime, it almost definitely will be. Huge play by Kawhi. We've talked about the risk of going to the offensive glass. That's the reward.
Did you say it almost definitely will be going to overtime?
No. If it goes to overtime, foul will matter.
So Kawhi, big free throws here. Lowry missed one earlier. Hits the first. Huge stakes here with this series shifting back to Toronto in Game 6. What an offensive rebound that was by Kawhi. Such high risk, too. And Gasol did just enough to keep it alive for him. 2 free throws. And Milwaukee trailing by 3. They've got about 4 possessions to make that up. Bledsoe on the drive. Back to Giannis. Not looking to shoot it. Kawhi is there. Giannis to his left. Cut off. Triple teamed. Bledsoe's 3 to tie it. Boxed out well by Gasol. Bledsoe could not get it. Now Giannis goes down.
He's out of the play.
I don't think they want to push it here, though. Leonard going at Brogdon. Throws it to Lowry underneath Siakam, and they should reset here. They got 11 on the clock. Siakam. Lopez coming over to help. Van Vliet cuts underneath. Gasol swings it. Leonard gets past right into the lane. He got fouled again, and that I didn't care. I know they're trying to force him left, but he's way up on him. I didn't see what happened to Giannis there. Did he just sprain his ankle or something? Yes. Yeah, that's what happened. He sprains his ankle a lot, but him being out of the play, did he ever get back into it? I guess he did eventually.
He did eventually.
But I didn't like what Middleton did there. Number one, he's forcing him left even more extreme as
missed free throw
from Leonard.
We've seen this movie before.
Yes, we have. But late clock, 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Like, just play him honest. Make him shoot over you instead of just giving up the drive. Giannis sitting on the scores table. Is he out right now? Did they take him out with that ankle issue? Yeah, they did. So they'll run this possession without him. Maybe you take a timeout to get him back in here.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a minute left.
Yeah, and then you won't have him for the defensive possession after either.
And Toronto sure as shit not going to call a timeout because they only have one left.
Here's Brogdon, cut off by Siakam. Middleton, pass Kawhi. His layup is good. No help came from Lowry on the weak side. Middleton has passed it extremely well in this game with 10 assists. Toronto running the time down. Kawhi gets it now. Wants to attack that top foot of Brogdon. Gets to his right hand. Spins back over his right shoulder. Way short. Gasol with the rebound over Lopez. And a bad foul by Lopez. The shot did hit the rim, I believe. They should have reset the shot clock. But this is going to be free throws for Gasol. And I don't know if that was an intentional foul.
Well, I think he was trying
Lopez.
to get a jump ball. That's what I think he was trying to do there.
Beautiful finish by Middleton over Kawhi's arm. But let's see if we can catch this here. The fadeaway. It really looked like it drew rim, although we couldn't see it there.
It
Yes,
did.
It absolutely
hit
did
rim.
here.
Yeah.
And I want to see this foul from Lopez. But this will be free throws for Gasol. And he can push it.
It doesn't look on the TNT thing. It doesn't look like either team called a timeout. Somebody has to have.
No, I think they're just reviewing whether
it hit the rim.
Or not. Yeah.
Okay, now let's see the rest of this. It hit the rim. We know this now, TNT.
Well, so is this going to be a jump ball now? Because did they call a shot clock violation?
Or did they? If they didn't call a foul. Then
no. Or maybe I think maybe what they did was reviewing to see if the foul happened before a potential shot clock violation, but there was no shot clock violation. So I think this should be free throws for Gasol coming up here, unless something weird is going on that I don't understand. So Kawhi has already missed a free throw. Oh, there's also a blood issue with Siakam. Infection control.
It's very frustrating to me that they're not showing what just happened.
Yeah,
what happened after that.
The actual foul afterwards. I mean, we know that it hit the rim.
It only took like 2 or 3 replays to clarify that.
Yeah, so there is a foul, and it'll be 2 free throws for Marc Gasol. Toronto.
Marc Gasol's biggest free throws since? Ever?
Yeah, maybe so.
I'm trying to think of international, and I don't have any.
And Lopez definitely appeared to commit the foul intentionally there, which was not a good idea. They had time.
That does allow them to get Giannis in the game if he's physically able.
Yeah, Gasol,
and
excellent free throw shooter for a big. Hits the first. It rattled in. This is the big one to push it to a 2-possession advantage. Milwaukee, I think either way here, you got to take your timeout and set something up for the 2-for-1. And you wonder, Danny, if Giannis were in the game, could he have gotten that rebound? Oh, he spins out that free throw. Milwaukee looking to push it up here. Bledsoe into the lane, throws it to Brogdon in the corner. They're not going to get the 2-for-1. Brogdon loses it. What's the call? They're just going to review it. Siakam confident that it should be Toronto ball. This could be one of those crazy ones.
By the way, I would love it if refs would be allowed to not have to make a preliminary call there.
I think they should make a preliminary call. Ooh, this is close. I think
two potential points: the bounce and then whether Brogdon touched it again. He did not touch it again.
Yeah.
So it's the first touch that matters.
Yeah, but this could be one of those ones where it's like Siakam knocks it away, but it just barely touched.
I think it hit Brogdon's shin. That's my call right now.
Brogdon's shin?
Brogdon's shin.
Not
That's my
Siakam's
call.
shin.
It hits Siakam's shin, then Brogdon's shin. That's my call.
Okay.
It's
nope. I think you're wrong.
It's before this.
But it hits his shin. We can see that. I think this is going to be Milwaukee ball, but they really screwed this up here by not taking the timeout and going for the 2-for-1. I mean, I know they wanted to push it up, but you still waste 4 seconds there pushing it up, and then there's no guarantee you're going to get something. Yeah, so it hits. Now, okay, see, here we go. Now it's the Zapruder film. It hits his shin first, but then is it still touching his hand after it hits his shin? Like, I hate this. This should just be Milwaukee ball here. That's how it's called for the entire rest of the game. This is going to be an interminable review. Or, oh yeah, are they giving it to Toronto? That guy's not happy that they gave it to Toronto.
That guy's pretty happy that they did.
So now Milwaukee has got a foul. I think 2.8 second differential.
Yeah, because you can just, with 2.8, you can chuck it and get pretty close to running the whole thing out.
One timeout remaining for Toronto. Remember, they had to take that one to get the ball in bounds with about 5 minutes left. They try to deny it. They get it into Van Vliet. He's got to get it out of the backcourt and does. Bledsoe trying to catch him up from behind. And now Nurse will take the timeout. And this is very interesting. I think Kawhi is wondering why they took the timeout. Maybe
Yeah, because, I mean, they're running into a problem here because if Milwaukee fouls, there might end up being a circumstance where you need that timeout.
You're talking about to get the ball in bounds.
Yeah, to get the ball in bounds.
Yeah.
Like, they had the ball in bounds. They got what they needed there.
Yeah, I think the thinking here is let's talk about if they're not going to foul, let's talk about how we can run the time down absolutely as much as possible. Take a jump shot that hits the rim right as the shot clock expires, and then you can actually run off more than the 24-second clock and leave Milwaukee in great difficulty. I still go back to not taking that 2-for-1 though. Ben, please write that in the notes for the pod later. You know what's crazy? I haven't looked at Twitter once during this whole broadcast.
I never really read it. Bontemps noting that the Raptors have historically struggled on inbounds and now they have the biggest one in franchise history. Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, I think if you're Milwaukee, you're trapped for a while, but you probably need to foul after about 5 or 10 seconds here. Gasol does get into the backcourt for Leonard. Double team coming. Leonard lops it way up to Lowry, and he's crushed by Middleton. No call. Siakam's going to dunk it to give him a 5-point lead. How did they not call that foul on Lowry? And Bud's going to get a timeout.
And yell at the ref.
He's wondering how the hell they didn't call that on Lowry because two guys just ran into him. He got the pass off in time. Mark Davis, he is not quick with the whistle. Watch this pass. Middleton, yeah, he fouls him there pretty clearly, but Siakam went in for the dunk easily, and that's they run off a little more time and get the guaranteed 2 points.
Now, the margin, I think that was probably like a second and a half or something like that, and Lowry's a very good free throw shooter. So, yes, it goes from being 100% to 2 points to somewhere in, let's say, the 80s, 90s? Probably 80s.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you're probably... No, to get 2 points, if he's an 85% free throw shooter, it's like 70%.
Yeah, that's right. And he missed one relatively recently. That's a good one for us to answer from W. Who's Ben? New here. Ben is our
Director of Basketball Research.
I'm not good at our made up names, but he's fantastic. You should follow him. BEN_DULL. He's doing some awesome WNBA work.
Yep.
Particularly with the Aces, but the whole WNBA. So you should follow him on that. And he does everything that makes this broadcast work.
All right,
except for talk on it.
Let's talk about Milwaukee's strategy now. Down 5, you really have to get a 3 here.
Absolutely.
You can't rely on the quick 2 and then getting a turnover and then getting a 3. You've got a chance. Now, if you can't get a 3 right away, you've got someone wide open under the hoop, but your first option has to be a 3, and you really got to shoot it within 6 seconds.
And not only that, but you need to have communicated to be in position for the inbound as well.
Yeah, deny the inbound pass. They're out of timeouts, Toronto is. Middleton, they'll switch this into the corner. He's going to try and just shoot over Powell. Not there. Lowry rebounds, and the Toronto Raptors are going to take a 3-2 lead in this series. The only solace for Milwaukee is that stat that I just randomly looked up about a week ago, which is that when teams win the first 2 and lose the next 3 to go down 3-2 and have home court advantage, teams are actually 8-7 in that scenario. I don't know if there's anything about that other than maybe just random luck, but worth noting that teams are 8-7 in that scenario, and they're like, win it 15% of the time in all other scenarios. Lowry hitting the first free throw, pushing it to 6. This will ice it for good if he can make it. But Milwaukee's still in great difficulty, of course, even if he doesn't. Second free throw is good. Bledsoe pushing it up. Might want to take a 3 there, Eric. Instead of making your stats look a little bit better, he goes right in for the layup. Toronto out of timeouts. They will have to get the ball in bounds. Kawhi fighting. They get it to Powell in the corner. He's fouled by Bledsoe on a take foul.
Wow.
I mean, you want to talk about this game 6 a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, so Toronto 32-24 fourth quarter. Remember those huge 10 Kawhi Leonard points in the first 5 minutes of this?
15 total in the quarter.
15 total in the quarter.
9 assists for him too.
Toronto, they did find their 3-point mojo, 18 of 43 overall in the game. They never found their 2-point mojo. They're still, my box score listed at 31% on 2s, whether that is updated. I mean, Siakam made that dunk, so maybe that changed it. But making the 3s, so I'll bring this up on the pod a lot, plus 24 from 3, plus 12 from the free throw line, most of that not before, most of that before the foul at the end.
Lopez does not get it off, and Toronto, 6-point win. I felt like I said on the pod that my prediction of Toronto in 6 was the dumbest prediction I'd ever made after game 2. And no, saying it was the dumbest prediction I've ever made was the dumbest prediction I've ever made. Toronto is in position to close this out.
I'm terrified of what happens if they win game 6 for what's going to happen for your confidence. But yeah, what a deserved win for the Raptors. They were fantastic. I mean,
yeah, and really, this is for Milwaukee. This is an offensive loss.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, and
that's a great point.
Certainly you can point to the fact that Toronto got up 43 3-point attempts and they hit 42% of them. I mean, that is the Bucks' strategy, especially with all the switching they did. They're helping even more, but they still defended well enough. Well, I guess it was a pretty slow-paced game. It was a 113 offensive rating for Toronto, but
like Chris Middleton only took 9 shots. He only took 2 threes. One of them was that heave at the end of the game.
Yeah.
George Hill only took 4. His were pretty open. Bledsoe and Brogdon had the large portion of those. I mean, Brogdon's not a bad shooter, obviously. He can be a very good shooter. Lopez did a lot more of his damage from 2 than from 3. And even in the non-foul-y portion of the end of this game, Toronto had the advantage from the free throw line, and I didn't think that was particularly egregious officiating or anything like that. Toronto was just the better aggressor.
All right, we're going to call it here. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back Saturday night, Game 6 from Scotiabank Arena and our couch.
Dunked on tonight, and it's going to be a big episode because we're going to have a lot to say on this game, and also we're going to talk about some guy named Zion Williamson. So that'll be exciting, and all NBA teams and everything else. This is going to be a long episode.
Till next time.